Texas Motor Speedway. For 20 years, IndyCar has been racing under the lights at this venue where the stars come out and the sparks fly. Fans have been here all weekend taking part in the many Texas-style events this track has to offer, including specialties like the Hog Heaven BLT Dog. And tonight, Texas is handing out bobbleheads to fans of the hottest driver in the Verizon IndyCar Series circuit. That's Graham Rahal, coming off a doubleheader sweep last week in Detroit. Oh, and Rahal happens to be the defending champion here. And the hottest oval driver at the moment overall, well, that's Takuma Sato, winner of the Indianapolis 500 2 weeks ago, and ready to take on the bank turns of Texas. We've had 7 different drivers win so far this season in 7 events, but not Helio Castroneves. He is, though, second in the championship. Points leader Scott Dixon has not won yet this season, but between them, they share 6 wins at this track. 22 drivers will be chasing Charlie Kimball, who captured his first pole yesterday in 8 seasons and looks to become the next Texas champion. Welcome to IndyCar Live, presented by Verizon, where in less than 45 minutes, the green flag will wave on this 248-lap race. And if you remember last year, because of weather, it took 2 different trips and 2 parts separated by 76 days to complete this race. That will not be an issue tonight. It's warm as it normally is at Texas, but no chance of rain and actually pretty comfortable temperatures tonight. Thanks for joining us from Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Kevin Lee, excited to be with you, and we are very excited to bring you home the rest of the way. The rest of the championship is on NBCSN. In fact, tonight marks 100 days exactly until the championship at Sonoma on September 17th. There's been a lot made about another first 100 days earlier this season, but look what's in store and how much ground has to be covered over this next 100 days. Someone actually went through YouTube and counted all the number of shifts approximately that we're going to see, and a lot to be done here so far before we get to the championship. Now, we're here at Texas Motor Speedway, where the racing is always thrilling. It's generally close, but it's going to be very difficult to top last year.
Getting this track to dry right now, incredibly difficult. The crew's out to work, trying to get this track ready to go.
Check out the drivers, going to sign some autographs for the fans.
The race will have to be postponed until tomorrow.
They're looking for green. We're racing in Texas. Here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay, hanging on right at the cushion. Huge crash on the front straightaway. Looks like Connor Daly and Josef Newgarden. The red flag now being displayed as you see the raindrops beginning to fall.
We start the race from where we stopped, so we'll come back and run the race from that point.
Since we were meant to race here in June, there have been 5 different races completed since the red flag on June 12th. After a 76-day red flag because of rain here in June, the Verizon IndyCar Series is back at Texas Motor Speedway.
Drivers, restart your engines!
This is going to get crazy. Oh! Just like I said, the more you start fooling around and racing each other, that's what happens.
As wild as we've seen in many years here at Texas Motor Speedway, known for their photo finishes, and we could be set up for a good one tonight.
3 wide, 4 wide. Oh boy.
Last lap.
Hinchcliffe is still in front.
One back, Rahal.
Rahal down to the bottom. Rahal to the front.
Outside, clear.
And Hinchcliffe battle back. Rahal and Hinchcliffe to the line.
Come and get the checkers, big boy.
Rahal has won in Texas Motor Speedway.
8 thousandths of a second.
Thank you, bud. Good job.
Cut to the bottom and sliced inside of Hinchcliffe and beat him by literally a hair.
That was by far the best thing we've ever seen here.
What a show tonight. Graham Rahal wins.
What an amazing finish last year, and he certainly loved reliving that just a moment ago. But how long did it take you to set up that last second pass, Graham?
Well, I mean, it takes a bunch of laps, you know. My thought was the whole time was I got to get him off the bottom because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get by Hinch on the top side. My car was plenty quick and very comfortable, but I knew that for me to complete it, I was going to have to get to the bottom lane, and luckily it worked out, man. The seas parted, and, you know, we got underneath him. I'm sure they thought I was going to stay high because that's where I'd been all race, you know, but I won on the bottom and we got it.
2 wins for you last weekend. I seem to recall talking to you after qualifying at Barber. You were down in the dumps. Where did all the speed come from all of a sudden for your race team?
Well, I think we felt like we had a car to win the Indy 500, and I think there was a lot of anger kind of within me and our team, just feeling like we got snake bitten again. And you know, we went up to Detroit and we had a good setup coming out of Long Beach for a street course, and we showed up and the thing was just a machine, and I just felt that it'd be best just to not make many changes, push the thing hard, and try to get the United Rentals car in victory lane. And you know, fortunately it worked out. We don't take those things for granted. Those don't happen often. It hasn't happened in my career, you know, where we were kind of on rails like that. And had we left there with only 1 victory after Saturday, we would have been disappointed. So to cap it off and win Sunday was awesome.
All right, Kevin, you talked about the bobbleheads earlier. There's 20,000 of them, and Graham and I wanted to make sure you got one. So this one's on its way up to you, Kev.
Thank you. I've already collected 2, so 3 will be good. One of the many storylines coming into this weekend, along with can Graham Rahal continue his run and will the racing be like last year? It's actually a slightly different track, a repave, including improving the drainage system. That already came into use yesterday when they dried the track in about an hour after rain. Will the racing be different? We'll find out. Scott Dixon has certainly been fastest in the test, fastest in the practice yesterday as well. And we see Tristan Vautier. He is the 4th driver in the 18 car in the last 4 races, including Sebastian Bourdais, who continues to be on the mend, and Vautier qualified 5th. And it's Chip Ganassi racing with 4 of the top 6 qualifiers. In fact, Honda occupied the top 8, and the pole sitter for the first time ever in IndyCar, Charlie Kimball, is with Jan Beekes.
And obviously big smiles across the whole Ganassi camp and for Charlie Kimball with that first career pole position. But you talked about how the fastest car in testing was Scott Dixon, but in your car. How much of a help was that to have a veteran shake it down before you got here?
Yeah, it was really nice. They did a lot of work, both Scott and Chris Simmons, his engineer. The nice thing about Chip Ganassi racing cars is all 4 cars, we operate as one team, so they're all built the same. So he could get in my car, work through April, came back with a little different tire, a little different stagger, but I think the fact that the Novo Nordisk car is on pole is a testament to the work that Chip Ganassi Racing does throughout the whole season.
Well, you talk about those 4 cars, you're all close together. Do we see you at the start of the race working together?
Let's hope so. I'm happy to lead them away. Ideally, it's 4 Chip Ganassi Racing cars riding off into the sunset. I mean, we are in Texas, so I feel like that's an appropriate response. But at the same time, we're all racing, you know, for ourselves. Scott's in the championship hunt. I'm not. We've got to be conscious of that as we get through the whole rest of the summer. But I was just really excited for the whole 83 crew. They've had my back all season long through the ups, the downs, and everything in between. And it was nice to put the car on pole for them yesterday.
All right, enjoy riding off to the sunset. He'll be trying for his 2nd career win, but first on an oval, Katie.
And Jan, Tony Kanaan was the first of the 4 Chip Ganassi racing cars to qualify yesterday. Tony, how do you think your run helped Charlie get pole yesterday?
It always helped. You know, when your teammate runs and you can tell on the radio what happens, and you know, they had a good car. I knew it was exactly what they had because we had the similar cars, and then they were able to trim out a little bit more. And you know, we got 4 cars in the top 6, so that was a good team effort for sure.
You played a significant role in last year's thrilling finish where Graham came out on top, you came in 3rd. Can we expect to see more of the same tonight?
We'll see. Maybe towards the end of the race, if we get a late yellow that everybody puts tires. I mean, this year with the new layout, there is a lot less grip in the 2nd lane. So I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about it. I don't know what to expect, but I know a lot of people are very concerned as well. So we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, this is NTT's hometown. I have a lot of people here cheering for me, so hopefully we'll get the win.
And if Tony Kanaan makes it to victory lane, it'll be the first time in 3 years. Kevin?
All right, thank you, Katie. And he's a former winner here, and so is Elio Castroneves. Team Penske, though, did not qualify where we are accustomed. Elio starts 10th, and Will Power will start on his inside all the way back to Josef Newgarden starting 17th. There's Will Power, and we're going to talk to Elio coming up in just a moment. Plenty more to come as we get you set for Texas. You're watching IndyCar Live, brought to you by Verizon. Go inside IndyCar all season. Download IndyCar Mobile from Verizon. It's getting busy down on the grid at Texas Motor Speedway. We are just under 30 minutes away from the green flag tonight for IndyCar. Always plenty of things to do at Texas Motor Speedway. They make it a happening, an event, including the off-road ruckus. You can bring your off-road vehicle here. It needs to be approved, make sure it's safe, but then you can do all kinds of different fun things here in the infield to test out the limits of your Jeep or your truck. Great stuff at Texas Motor Speedway, and serious fun had by all. Well, it's been very busy since the Indianapolis 500. No rest for teams or drivers right after the biggest race of the year. It's the only doubleheader of the year at Detroit. As Graham Rahal mentioned, he thought he left something on the table at Indianapolis. They had a light cut tire, probably could have been in the top 5, possibly even won, but he had no issues last weekend in Detroit.
Rahal comes to the line. It won't be fast enough.
But we just haven't been very good this year. We have not performed at a very high level as a team. So we just have to figure out what it is. There's something fundamentally that might have changed, you know, that maybe we just haven't picked up on. You know, I don't know, you know, I don't know what to say.
Rahal is doing an incredible job this weekend. He's been fast from the moment he got here.
There is a definite hunger in the Rahal camp to pull this one off.
We won it, baby.
Career win number 5 to Graham Rahal at Detroit.
Great job. You just controlled this whole race.
It feels extremely rewarding. This year has not been easy for this team. Man, hopefully we can go do it again tomorrow.
No driver since they started the duel in Detroit has won both races on a weekend.
He has been dominant through both of these races.
Caution is out. Full course yellow.
This is not what Rahal needed.
How does it finish? Here they come to the restart.
Look at Rahal. Look at the distance he's put between them. That is exceptional driving.
Graham Rahal takes the checkered flag in the second of the Detroit Grand Prix doubleheader races.
Great job. No never luck off these races.
Well, this has pretty much been the Graham Rahal show so far. He won this event last year, won both races last weekend, and he has jumped up to 6th in points. After crashing early at Phoenix, he was 17th, still only 15th after the Indianapolis 500. Legitimately at least 8. Very much still in the championship hunt as we get to the second half of the season. And the top 2 have not won a race yet. That's Scott Dixon and Castroneves. And we've had 7 different winners at the 7 tracks visited, the 7 events, and Rahal, the first multiple winner. One of those guys trying to get in the winner's circle is standing by with Marty Snyder.
That would be Castroneves. He and I just finished riding around the track, waving to all the fans here. You'd love to make it 8 for 8 at 8 different winners at 8 different tracks. But what's so tough about this new repaved surface here at Texas? You've won here more than anyone.
Marty, that's a very good question. Right now, it's unknown territory to everybody. Definitely they change a little bit the shape of the track in turn 1 and 2. It's also the surface is a little bit slippery, especially in the beginning of the race. So I believe I'm going to have to be a lot of patient, which is hard, especially in the IndyCar Series when everybody's like want to pass, especially when we used to go to 3 wide here. So I do feel the line is going to get better, but this is going to be towards the end of the race.
You've been the only driver to finish top 10 in every race this year. You've been here before in championship contention. What do you need to do different this year to win it?
We try everything. You saw Detroit. Roger and I tried different strategy. Unfortunately, the yellow didn't pay it off. So we just got to keep trying. I mean, we won't give up. We know what we have. We have a phenomenal car. AAA Chevy machine is looking really good balance today, and we're going to go for it.
Kevin, this race has only been run one time on June 10th. The man who won on June 10th, this guy, Castroneves, 11 years ago tonight.
4-time winner here, the most, and this is his 20th start at Texas. For Elio has finished 2nd in the championship 4 times. Scott Dixon, a 4-time champion, also looking for his first win of the season, but also has been very consistent. Top 6 in every event this year, except the Indianapolis 500 because of this frightening crash.
Little run here, in your mirrors, looking, inside, 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 clear.
One top on the top right there. On the top, load.
That's big. That's big. Car just bounced down in front of us, guys.
You all right, Jay?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
What happened? I cleared him. He was getting past her, and I cleared him. Looked like he was slowing down, like even before he couldn't turn. And then he kind of spoke the wall there, and Yeah, I mean, he couldn't steer after that.
Oh my, oh my. It's just a wild ride, man. You just hold on and, you know, believe in the safety, you know, progress that we've had over, you know, the last many years.
Glad everybody was okay. It was definitely a wild ride.
Well, talk about a wild ride. We're in the back of a pickup taking the lap around Texas Motor Speedway with Scott Dixon. And Scott, what a testament to safety after your crash in Indianapolis. But in Belle Isle, you came back very strongly. What is it about that? We saw Josef Newgarden last year have a crash and then win 2 races later. How does that motivate a driver?
Well, hopefully we can repeat that. You know, we maybe missed it by a race in Detroit, but yeah, it's a huge testament, I think, to IndyCar Series, Dallara, you know, the Homoltro safety crew, everybody involved. You know, that was definitely a big crash and a wild ride, but luckily, you know, with how the car hits and scenarios like that, I got very, very lucky. But, you know, it's good to be here in Texas, obviously racing and, you know, flying the flag for NTT Data, and we're in their backyard, so we'll be trying to get a win tonight.
We see all this new pavement out here. Do you view this a little bit like a brand new racetrack?
It's tough. You know, it's a new tire. It's a new aero configuration for us with Honda. The banking's different. You know, it's a lot. The radius of the corner in 1 and 2 is definitely pretty interesting. So we've struggled to use the second lane quite a bit. So we'll see. Hopefully tonight, as it gets darker and the track gets more grip, we can maybe bring that in a little bit.
All right, we talked about that testament to safety, and IndyCar received a handwritten letter from Lucy, a second grader, saying, "Thank you so much," on the left-hand side there, "for keeping my favorite driver, Scott Dixon, safe." He was able to respond via social media saying, "I hope I get the chance to meet you one day."
And Jan, Max Chilton is the 4th member of Chip Ganassi Racing. We're just finishing up our ride around now. Max, you had quite a successful May, a 4th place finish at the Indy 500. What did you learn there that translates here to Texas?
You know, this place is fast. It's nearly as fast as Indy, but it's a mile less. So there's a lot more banking. You feel the G-force more. It's a completely different beast, but it always puts on a good show. I think there's going to be less overtaking this year because of the new style of reduced amount of banking at turn 1 and 2. But this place will put on a good show. It always looks great at this time of evening with the sun setting, and it's great to finish under the fireworks.
And after the Indy 500, you changed your phone background to the IndyCar points as they run. How does that help motivate you?
Well, you know what the 21st century is like. We spend our lives on our phone. I must open my phone probably 300 times a day. So just having that reminder, just, you know, 10 times an hour is a good reminder of why you're here and why you put this effort into racing, and then it helps the team if you can get good results. So yeah, it's just a little motivational tool, and you know, if it doesn't work, and I'll change it back to a nice supercar or something.
Well, we'll see if it works tonight. He'll try to get the win from 6th tonight, Kevin.
All right, thank you, Katie. He was fun to watch at Indianapolis, and he definitely had a chance, as did Ed Carpenter, as many times. He's a former winner here. He was fastest in the final practice last night, and Ed will be featured on our in-car Verizon streaming. Go inside IndyCar all season. Download IndyCar Mobile from Verizon. Plenty more to come as we work our way towards the green flag, including a visit with the new Indianapolis 500 champion. We'll talk to Takuma Sato coming up. Texas IndyCar fans are filing in, gathering less than 20 minutes away from the green tonight at Texas Motor Speedway for the Rainguard Water Sealers 600. Next weekend is a very welcome weekend off before IndyCar heads to Road America, but in the last 5 weeks, including IndyCar qualifying, it has been very, very busy. And it's 2 weeks since the Indianapolis 500, but most of the IndyCar fans and community still buzzing about that event.
Good luck today. 落ち着いて頑張ってください.
Okay, 頑張ろう.
Green flag.
The 101st running of the Indianapolis 500 is underway.
Go get him, buddy. Go get him.
That's it. Keep hustling. Keep hustling. Eyes forward. Hunt down Helio. This one's yours. Hunt him down.
Inside. You're clear. Good job. Pull away. Pull away.
White flag. White flag.
佐藤拓磨、日本人ドライバーとしてインディ500
Listen, awesome! Awesome!
Unbelievable feeling. Oh, I can't thank enough to the whole team. Look at this, guys. Favorite show. Fantastic.
So much fun for Takuma Sato to relive those memories. Fun to watch it even here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great day.
Have you been able to watch the race yet or not?
Not the entire race, but I did have a chance to look at the last 10 laps.
All right, and your thoughts on those last 10 laps? How did you do?
It looks good.
It does look good, doesn't it? That check looks good after the race as well. I want to ask you about coming here. You got to hang out with the Dallas Cowboys, which was kind of a cool thing for you. Now, you're 5'4", 132. These guys are a little bit bigger than you, aren't they?
That was impressive facility as well. Was obviously the most physically demanded athlete in the world, and that was cool. Cool to see everyone there, and that's big. I mean, some of the defense guy is probably 3 times bigger than me.
Look, they all want to check out the bling, didn't they? They want to see your ring.
Oh, I know. It was actually the ring was great. They do have a Super Bowl rings and things like that, and this is a Japan spot happening, and this is just 20 stories, so that was great.
That's 20 stories?
Yes, it is.
That's very impressive. Now, are you like a star in Japan? I know you haven't been back, but I mean, have you heard?
We will go back to Japan tomorrow with INDYCAR.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, and then we will have a big press conference and as well as do some media tour, so it'll be fun.
You told me over 1,000 messages and notes. How did honestly, as you kind of look back at it a couple weeks removed, the Indy 500 win change your life?
It's just an incredible feeling, obviously a significant time in my life, and yes, as well as I've gotten a lot of message which I couldn't catch it up in maybe half of that, but appreciate all the support.
Yeah, he certainly has gotten a lot of cool messages. He told me a text message from Vice President Mike Pence and also a handwritten letter from Bill Clinton congratulating him on the Indy 500 win, Jan.
And from the 101st winner of the Indy 500 to the 100th winner, Alexander Rossi. And here at Texas, these seem to suit your style, these high-speed tracks. You've got out of the car each time with a big smile. You seem confident. Why?
Well, I don't know about that. I think that, our car's been really strong in Andretti Autosport. These tracks really suit our kind of philosophy and our setup approach, and that's warranted with the fact that, the past 2 500s we've won 3 out of 4. So it's a great honor to be able to drive for a team that has such a capable package around tracks like this, because on places like this, drivers really can't make the difference. It's about the car.
Now, you knew all about strategy, and so does your team. This might be about strategy tonight, because last year it was tires. Maybe this year it's fuel, new paving. How do you see it?
Anything and everything, I think. I mean, I don't think the tires will be as much of an issue as they were last year because of the amount of grip that we have, but the fact that there's only one lane, or so it seems at the moment, I think is where strategy is going to become a factor, because at the moment it seems very difficult to pass.
Well, it's going to be a good one. Remember, he starts 3rd today, which is where he started this year's Indy 500, and bar a little bit of a fueling concern on the last pit stop, he was in the running for a win, Kevin.
He certainly was, from California, which has been a home locale for many great IndyCar drivers, and so has Texas. Ryan Hunter-Reay was actually born in Dallas, and 4 other legends made Texas home, including Super Tex, 67 career wins from Houston. And Johnny Rutherford has lived in Fort Worth. He's actually here tonight along with A.J. Foyt, the 1980 IndyCar champ, and then 2 others. Lloyd Ruby, a 7-time winner, so great, so close, so many times in the 500. And we recently lost Jim McElreath, a 5-time IndyCar winner and a former Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year. Robin Miller is very familiar with all these gentlemen, and he's down in the middle of it all. Time for the grid walk, Robin.
All right, boys, we're going to surprise some people. Mr. Hinchcliffe,
yes.
You led 188 laps last year and lost by a Tony Kanaan.
Yeah.
What's tonight's strategy?
Don't lose.
And don't lead the last 3/4 of a lap, or?
I don't know, man. It's a different racetrack. It races totally different. No one knows. No one knows where they want to be on the last lap.
Tell Canada what they want to hear.
Canada, we're going to win. It doesn't matter.
All right. See, somebody was almost honest. That's good. I like that. Now we'll go to talk to somebody that's got a Penske PR chip and he's going to turn. Hello, young man. Come right over here. Hey. This is live television and national television.
Is this you doing a grid run here or something?
This is it. The story in the pits is you guys didn't care about qualifying because your race cars are so good.
Well, I think so. I mean, obviously we would have liked to qualify a little better, but I think our race car is good. We're going to try and work the top side a little bit tonight. We're going to try and make that happen. I think most guys will try and get up there halfway through this race, but I feel good about our Hum Verizon car. I think we were fast last night. We just got to be there in the end.
All right, see you, kid. Now we're going to go talk to the guy that got robbed at Indianapolis, if I can find him. Where's the Rookie of the Year? Hello, Ed.
All right, how you doing?
All right.
Yeah.
We have, in this country, sometimes when the election doesn't go right, we have reballots. We re-vote. Should we re-vote for the Rookie of the Year?
You can do if you like. Obviously, I got to put on a good show today, and if I do that, then maybe I should deserve it.
But you had a lot of support from the media and from the fans.
Great. No, I really appreciate that. Obviously, we put in a lot of work, and it was good to see that everyone noticed what we did in the month of May. We worked, the team gave me a fantastic result, and yeah, it's great to be appreciated.
You went from last to third, and you had a hole in the nose, so you maybe could have won this thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we got a really good race car. We had an issue in qualifying, so hopefully we can move forward. And to be honest, this is the most comfortable I've ever felt at an oval. So.
Co-rookie of the year at the worst with Fernando Alonso, Kevin.
No doubt. And Ed, as he just mentioned, he's confident, very comfortable on this track. Watch what he can do. Coming up in just a moment, Townsend Bell and Paul Tracy. You are watching IndyCar Live, brought to you by Verizon. Go inside IndyCar all season. Download IndyCar Mobile from Verizon. About ready to go from Texas Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
Texas, a bit insane, high speed, never the same.
It's always a little bit unpredictable, which makes it one of the toughest places that we go.
It is all good for about 9 laps, and then the tires start to go off, and it becomes less good.
I'm hoping to come back to Texas with new pavement and figure out how that works and hopefully redeem myself.
One of the most intense races that we have as drivers, physically demanding for a big oval.
You know, the cars are moving all over the place and the speeds are way up.
One of the fastest 1.5 mile races we do, and one of the close finishes we always gonna get.
So what are we gonna see tonight from Texas Motor Speedway, one of the great IndyCar races, most every season, counting on that happening again tonight, and we're not far away. Thanks for joining us tonight on NBCSN. I'm Kevin Lee. This is Townsend Bell. That's Paul Tracy. There are always questions coming into every race and uncertainty. Are there more questions tonight, Townsend?
No doubt, Kevin. The questions will come from this new track, new surface, new banking. All of that throws a curveball at these drivers. You talk to anybody down there on the track right now driving these things, they will tell you it's a completely new track to them. Throw out everything you've known about Texas Motor Speedway. The question is, who does that advantage? I think this is going to be a measure of raw talent. Cream always rises to the top, and we ran the stats since 2010. These are new venues. In some cases, they're venues that IndyCar went back to after a long absence. But what's really interesting is look at who wins at the new venues, specifically those 2 tracks in yellow, the only 2 ovals on the list. Look to your left, Scott Dixon. I think this favors a guy like Scott Dixon, seat of the pants talent. He's got a very fast Honda. It's a rocket ship, so he's one to watch tonight.
He's going to start on the front row. And I want to talk about the starting grid, Paul, and the guys that are starting up front, some with not a lot of experience up there, like Max Chilton in 6th. Tristan Vautier 5th, his first IndyCar race in a year and a half, and the first time on the front row for Charlie Kimball.
Well, there's a lot of interesting characters up front with some veterans. Chilton's got momentum. He had a good run at Indy in his best finish. Vautier comes in here starting 4th or 5th. He hasn't been in a race in 2 years. And the guy that's on the pole, Charlie Kimball, watch out for him because a lot of these guys up front have issues running with him side by side. He likes to run guys really hard, and he likes to run them close. So they're going to be real careful, and he's going to want to park that car out front and keep it out front.
Much to be learned here coming up in the next little while. We are going to find out coming up very shortly. Drivers are strapped in. We're going to start the engines and go green in just a moment. IndyCar Live presented by Verizon. We'll go green. Coming up from Texas Motor Speedway. Who's going to get it done this year? We'll soon learn.
Start your engine! 11 rows of 3 ready to start. The Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Oh my goodness! One car airborne! And Scott Dixon is going to walk away.
Here comes Takuma Sato, side by side, and Sato has the lead.
Pull away, pull away.
Back at Texas Motor Speedway.
3 wide, 4 wide. Oh boy.
Rahal down to the bottom. Rahal to the front around. Rahal has won at Texas Motor Speedway. Oh, more of that, please. Graham Rahal won by about 30 inches last year. What is in store tonight? Welcome to the Rainguard Water Sealer 600 from Texas Motor Speedway. Race 9 of 17 of the 2017 season. So far, 7 race events, 7 weekends, 7 winners. Graham Rahal swept the doubleheader at Detroit last weekend. Will Power is one of those that's won this season. Max Chilton is on the brink of breaking through for the first time in IndyCar. The deepest field you will find in motorsport is right here in IndyCar, including Helio Castroneves, a 4-time winner here. Now let's go trackside to get this event going.
No Limits, Texas, it's time for the reason that we are here. Please welcome tonight's Grand Marshal, the president of Rainguard International, to give the command, Claude Florent.
Drivers, start your engines!
'22 IndyCar machines are fired up and ready to go, and storylines to cover. Let's go down to the grid, and we start with Katie Hargan.
Kevin, it's been nearly 2 years since Tristan Vautier strapped into an IndyCar. This year, he's in the 18 for the injured Sebastian Bourdais. When I talked to him about his secret to success with his 5th place qualifying start, he said, just pointed to his engineer Craig Hampson and said, Sebastian warned me they had this thing set up as a rocket. I just wasn't expecting it to be this fast. After his lap yesterday, Sebastian texted him just 3 words. Told you so, Marty.
Hey, one of the big questions tonight, who goes to the top of turn 1 and 2 and how quickly do they do it? It's going to take some bravery to get that done. And when it comes to bravery, maybe no one braver on the grid than Mikhail Aloshin. He told me earlier, yep, I'm going to go up there as soon as I can, because if you can work in that second groove, you're going to have a pretty quick car later in the evening. Jan?
And Marty, you heard a lot of the drivers talk about it. New tires here this weekend. Firestone has brought new tires after some blisters surfaced when they tried out this new surface on April 12th. Well, a lot of the drivers say as they start rolling here, the tires might be too good. What do they mean? Well, last year they lost grip right in the middle of a stint. Now they're saying these tires are staying under me the entire stint, meaning we should have close racing from beginning to end, Robin.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you, Jan. We'll hear from Robin coming up in a matter of moments. All right, let's see how they are going to start for this one. It's dominated up front by Chip Ganassi Racing, including Charlie Kimball on the pole for the first time in IndyCar.
Charlie Kimball doing a great job taking his team's information. Scott Dixon did the test here a couple months ago. Charlie Kimball put it to best effect with the pole, his first IndyCar pole.
And row 2, it's Alexander Rossi, who we just heard from a bit ago, and Tony Kanaan as well, 2 that are going to be strong, we think, here. And then row 3, this is a little bit new, PT.
Tristan Vautier, 2-year absence, came in here in a really good car, put it right up front. And Max Chilton backing up his solid run at Indy. And then we have Mikhail Aloshin, Will Power, Castroneves.
Going back to row 6 now, these are guys that are going to want to move forward in a hurry. Graham Rahal, so strong at Detroit. Simon Pagenaud had a horrendous Indy 500, just wasn't competitive the whole month. They're not sure why. He's going to be looking to change his fortunes.
Look at these guys. I will make you a steak dinner bet. Marco Andretti's the first guy to go to the high side on the first lap.
I will take that, because there's not much of a high side here at Texas right now until it gets rubbered in. You're on, my friend. Going back to row 10. A lot of people felt should have been Rookie of the Year in the Indy 500. Ed Jones doing a great job his rookie year in IndyCar. And these two guys, the Texas team with A.J. Foyt, they need to make something happen tonight.
And Munoz did not make it to Tech yesterday to qualify, so that's why he starts at the back. Also note that the first Chevy qualifier starts only 9th. Our onboards today, we have 5 of them, including the Lucas Oil onboard with James Hinchcliffe, who starts in the 16th position. And Graham Rahal will be in the Pengrade Motor Oil entry, and his onboard starting from the 11th position. We've also got that helmet cam look for Graham Rahal. Mikhail Aloshin and the Aero onboard starts in the 7th position. 2 NTT Data cars, and this is Tony Kanaan. He starts on the outside of the 2nd row, and right in front of him is his teammate. Also NTT Data is the sponsor, the Verizon onboard for Scott Dixon. We also have Ed Carpenter, and he's our Verizon streaming onboard, where you can go inside IndyCar all season. Download IndyCar Mobile from Verizon.
You can see how furiously Ed Carpenter is trying to warm the front tires. These tires taking a little longer than normal to come in.
Short pace laps, pretty quick pace on the green. So let's see what they got here.
Lined up. 11 rows of 2. Kimball in the green and black car on the low line. The 2 NTT data cars on the outside, getting ready to go.
Green.
Strap in, hold on tight, it's IndyCar in Texas.
Charlie Kimball with a big jump there, gets out to an early lead. Scott Dixon looking high around Alexander Rossi. Not much grip up there early, but he's making it work.
Got some guys 2x2 already, but nobody went to the super high side to make a run around the outside. It was a fast start, so it got spread out a little bit, but Charlie Kimball has assumed the lead with his teammates second and third.
Tony Kanaan going around the 98 of Alexander Rossi. Nice move to the high side as we ride with this great helmet cam. Let's watch this from Graham Rahal.
A lot of pedaling that gas. He was, oh, look at that car way off the line.
Guess who that was, my friend? That was Marco Andretti. High side is no luck tonight. Steak dinner, baby.
So you both were right. He tried it, but it didn't work very well.
Well, the bet was that he was going to be the first to go up there. I didn't say it was going to work or not.
Well, so far, a couple of those Andretti cars are struggling. Rossi dropped back a spot. Hunter Ray has dropped back 5 spots. Marco Andretti struggling as we see Hinchcliffe trying to make the high side work.
I just saw Lotion's car shoot up the track, or Graham Rahal shoot up the track as well. So it's tough to get that high line going. Guys got to start using it to get it to work.
And they thought it would work maybe on a lap or two. You see Michaela Lotion decking in early. Now we're seeing Dixon challenge for the lead on his teammate Charlie Kimball in that black and green car.
If I'm Charlie Kimball, I'm going to want to keep that car on the bottom line and stay out front and not worry about fuel mileage. Watch, we got to move down the inside with Tristan. He gets the door shut.
How about
on
that
him by Tony Kanaan.
How about that for a guy that hasn't seen the series in 2 years? A lot of bravery, a lot of confidence in the car. He's going to lose another spot, maybe 2.
That's that momentum. He got the door shut on him by Tony Kanaan. He had to get out of it. And Ed goes around the high side and he loses the front end. So that was the first guy that really had a legitimate shot at trying to go around the outside, and he lost the front end of the car.
Ed Carpenter already up 7 spots to 7th. We saw Takuma Sato, the Indy 500 champion, also get around Tristan Vautier.
Ed Carpenter told me that he thinks he's got a car to win the race. Even though he qualified down the field, he was fastest in last night's final practice, which most closely resembles the conditions we have now. So look for Carpenter to keep charging to the front.
I was talking to Ed Carpenter before the race, fellas, and he said he ran 52 laps last night on the same set of tires, and he thinks he's got a hell of a chance to win this race. But he said if tire management's any indication, he's going to be there at the end.
Yeah, I talked to him at breakfast this morning, Robin. He said his car was really good. He was able to do a crossover, kind of like Alonso, come up, start up a little bit high, and as the tires wore, he was able to look at Vautier making moves.
I really like that move from Vautier. What he did was he just sat wide off of the back of Sato, off of turn 2 to keep a little air on the front wing, and then crossed over.
Here's that crossover move. Watch Ed try to come in high right here, and he will try to cross underneath just like that.
Look at Vautier. He's kind of just inching. He's flirting high to get some clean air and trying to stay flat so he can get the run down the back straightaway. He pops again on Sato. Going to be close here. Sato's going to try to hold him tight. Vautier makes the move.
Well, the move right now is to get the guy up off the bottom. So the trick here now is to cross over and get underneath the guy before you get to the next corner, almost like a road course corner.
Pretty racy here, guys, early on. You see Will Power trying to use that second line in 1 and 2 in that silver car right in front of Ed Carpenter. In front of them, Takuma Sato. And, you know, you think if you won the Indy 500, you might want to take that car and put it in a museum, right, guys? I know you would if you won the Indy 500. Not the case for Takuma Sato. This is the car he won the Indy 500 in. He said, listen, I would love to be in a position as a team to be able to take the car, put it in a museum, but we had to bring it to Texas. We had no other choice, but someday it will be in the museum somewhere. Just got to race it tonight.
Vautier and Kanaan going side by side. Vautier on the bottom side in the white and red car. Kanaan up top, and we're watching his onboard.
Same move again, Townsend. He's setting up these corners like a road course move. He comes from the outside, crosses over a little bit, and then makes the move to the inside at the next corner. He's got another run. Look, underneath. He's going to get it underneath and make a move on Rossi here.
He's finding air low, he's finding air high, enough to make the front wing work coming off of turn 2. I can't say enough about this Dale Coyne team. So fast in Indy with Bourdais, so fast with the replacement driver, James Davison, and now they put another guy in the series, hasn't been around for 2 years. Look at Kanaan, whoa, that's gonna be close.
He stuck it on the outside, though, and kept it there. He's got the best car in the field right now. This Dale Coyne car is a rocket.
That's remarkable that he stayed in that.
Engineered by Craig Hampson. And guys, we are only 12 laps into 248. It's already gone crazy here in Texas.
And Townsend, the last time Tristan Vautier was in an IndyCar was actually back in 2015 when he ran 11 races with Dale Coyne Racing. I asked him, what's the biggest difference that you see in the team now? And like Townsend said, he said it all goes back to Craig Hampson. He's been able to provide that team a lot of stability. It also goes back to stable drivers. Tristan's hoping he'll get back more seat time in the 18 later this season.
I tell you what, the spotters must be listening to us because now guys are covering that move. Look at how close he's to the back of Rossi's car. He's coming in on the high side. And he's the only guy who's making it work on the high side now. Look at that, around the outside of Rossi, no problem.
He is rubbering in the track for the rest of the field. Tristan Vautier on a charge.
All I heard yesterday was you can't pass on the high side in 1 and 2.
Well, you should have said it in French because the Frenchman didn't hear that. On board with Carpenter, who's looking to make a move back on Sato here.
And you guys are talking about Alexander Rossi and the spotters. You're exactly correct. The call to Alexander Rossi, stay low, stay low. They could see what was developing. They could see what Tristan Vautier's been doing, and he protected that position. But Vautier still, as you say, is on a charge.
Tell you what, he's going to go for the lead here in about one more corner. And what he needs to do after he gets the lead is take a breath and calm down, because right now he's driving like a maniac. And he goes for the outside again.
Side by side, high side with Charlie Kimball.
Whoa.
Tristan Vautier hasn't been in an IndyCar race in a year and a half, and he's trying to take the lead down the backstretch at Texas Motor Speedway.
Did you see the wiggle he had, Paul, in the back of his car between 1 and 2? Look at him dancing around. He doesn't care.
And I told you, Charlie's a tough guy to pass. He does not give up easily without a fight. Look at the big draft from Rossi. Now we got a packed race, 5 cars here in a pack.
All this does is make this race way more exciting for its closing stages. All the rubber that's being laid down on the high side, they are changing this racetrack in real time.
Vautier still hanging tough on the outside. Charlie is not giving up that bottom line. He's got to force him off the bottom, but Charlie's got it pinned down there, so he's not prepared to give up that line. As Vautier now has a nose ahead, and he leads for the first time, but can he pull it around the outside?
Last time by, Kimball led by 0.02 of a second. Now they're side by side down the backstretch. Vautier trying to make it stick on the high side, can't quite get around.
He's got the momentum here. Charlie chops off the front of him.
We're watching a guy who was snubbed for a full-time ride in 2016 that believes he earned an opportunity to be in this series full-time, and he is showing the field this is what you missed out on.
Well, you won't miss anything. Stay with us. Settle in. This looks like it's going to be a good one. Charlie Kimball, Tristan Vautier battling up front here at Texas Motor Speedway. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by United Rentals, official equipment rental services provider of IndyCar and proud sponsor of Graham Rahal. And by Rainguard Water Sealers, the future in non-toxic wood, concrete, and brick surface protection. That's Texas Motor Speedway President Eddie Gossage riding along in the stadium super trucks with Robbie Gordon. One of the other features in the inside of the infield, and they'll race again after this one tonight, which you've been watching side by side, and it has been fantastic. Charlie Kimball leading Tristan Vautier. Vautier has led a couple of laps so far in this race. Also of note, Josef Newgarden has gone from 17th to 4th right now and is challenging Tony Kanaan, and Vautier to the front, goes around the outside and gets Charlie Kimball to take the lead here in Texas.
Tristan Vautier's been working Charlie Kimball. Here comes Josef Newgarden now going inside Kimball. That's the first time Kimball's had to experience the high line here in this Texas race, but Vautier is going to check out.
And that's the first time he's had to experience some turbulence. He's been sat out in front of clean air, and now he's got moved off the bottom by Newgarden. You see he skates up the track. He went from 1st to 3rd in the span of a lap and a half, and now Tony Kanaan, his teammate, is making a move. And look at Will Power.
The problem for Tony Kanaan is that he's odd man out of the draft down the back straightaway. If they exit high and stay high and you're inside like Kanaan, look at Kanaan, he's dropping back. Now he's going to fall into the clutches of 6th, 7th place here.
Penske cars now are coming on strong. Newgarden started 17th. We haven't talked about him all race, and he's moved all the way forward to 2nd.
We'll continue to watch this while we check in with Katie.
And Kevin, I am standing by with a very nervous team owner. Dale, your new driver, Tristan Vautier, is leading here at Texas Motor Speedway right now. What's the word over the radio to him?
Just let him run. He wants to lead. We'd rather have him in second, save some fuel, but he wants to lead, so we're going to let him lead.
What's it like been working with him this weekend?
I'm sorry?
What's it been like working with him this weekend and Craig Hampson?
We've run with him before, so we knew him, and we're very surprised by the whole performance, so it's going good.
And so are we. He's putting on quite a show, Kevin.
Well, what do you do from here out? He came in here, he's got a full-time ride in Europe, racing sports cars. Obviously, you got to be looking hard at him to keep him in the cars. Newgarden flirts with the lead, but Vautier holds him off. What would you do if you were him? Give up your sports car ride and try to come here for the rest of the season?
Tristan Vautier, I think, would love to be in IndyCar full-time, but the nervousness from Dale Coyne, I think, is the result of the fact that they wrecked a car at Phoenix, destroyed a car at Indy, destroyed a car at Indy. It's been a lot of carnage, and as much as he loves seeing his guys go for it, I'm sure he's thinking in the back of the mind, don't go overboard, don't go over the limit. Jan?
And we talked about people letting their drivers run. The other one is Josef Newgarden. Josef Newgarden has said all the way through practice, I just couldn't get the speed for qualifying, so we focus on a race car. Well, look what that's doing as he goes to the high side. Josef Newgarden may have given up something in qualifying, but he has it here in race pace.
I'll tell you what, we talked about the Ganassi cars. We're going to run away with this thing with how fast they were in practice. Dixon now has fallen to 9th place.
And guys, we're kind of seeing contradicting styles within the Team Penske camp. You see you see actually Will Power and Josef Newgarden running up front, charging for the lead. Newgarden trying to get the lead here on Vautier. Meanwhile, in the back, Helio Castroneves being very patient. He told me, I'm not going to worry about where I'm at in the first half of this race. Right now, he's in 14th. You can see, he said, I'm going to be very patient. It's going to be tough, but I think the second half of the race is where I need to worry about. Clearly, his teammates not worried about it. They're trying to get the lead right now, Kevin.
Side by side up front for the lead. Newgarden on the high side, Vautier on the low side, battling for the lead at Texas Motor Speedway, and they stay lined up together at the line.
The high line now, Townsend has grooved in, and it's only going to get better the cooler it gets, and as the sun sets and it gets dark and the lights come on, that is going to be more grip up top, and you're going to see guys go even higher to get 3 wide.
The margin at the line that last time by was 1/1000th of a second. And let's watch on board. Oh, and we've got Alexander Rossi around and into the wall.
This is a much-needed break for these drivers. They've been going like a pack race. You see the crash here, not a ton of damage. He's lost the front tire in the rear.
That's usually a half spin with a left side slap for Alexander Rossi. We're 38 laps in. We thought a stint would be about 50 laps. So even though they talked about how long the tires were lasting, we might be entering this phase now where this is the degradation period where the drivers are going to have to be careful. Let's see how they're doing.
They were going fast and furious from the word go, so this is a good breather. Just everybody catch their breath and say, okay, we've got to make a couple changes to the car on the pit stops. Rossi gets out, he's disappointed. We get a replay here of what happened to him. He's pinched in the middle of 2 cars.
3 wide into turn 3.
Well, he just got squeezed and had nowhere to go. One car came down on top, the other came up on him, and
looked like he might have bounced possibly off the inside car. Not sure who that was.
He was the meat in the sandwich.
A little bit of contact. Scott Dixon, it looks like, down low.
It's the 2 Ganassi cars, the 2 NTT data cars. Dixon low, Kanaan high.
Bounced off of both cars, Townsend. I think he had contact and then got off the gas so hard and probably got on the brake, and the rear end just went away from him. This is a good view here.
He gets a good run down the back straightaway. He's going to pop to the inside. Kanaan had a good run to the high side. Oh, yeah. I think just a ricochet.
Behind us anyway. We're going to have a yellow here.
He just got squeezed real hard by both guys and had to get out of it so quick. Probably was on the brake a little bit and lost the rear end.
It was a Ganassi club.
So one of the fast guys is out of contention. Alexander Rossi started 3rd, had been running in the top 10. Also of note, we mentioned Ryan Hunter-Reay lost spots early. He's gotten back. He's already improved 3 spots over his starting position, up to 10th position. That's his stand. Michael Andretti and Ray Gosling.
Nobody's lost too much distance in terms of, like, the cars weren't spread out 3/4 of the way around the track. We didn't have any lapping going on, so he's not that far back off the lead, and everything's going to change, Townsend. Once the sun goes down and it gets darker and there's more downforce.
I just love the fact, Paul, that we're getting the high groove rubbered in, and you can see not only is it getting rubbered in, guys are starting to run higher and higher in the corner. What that's going to mean is that this first restart that's coming up is going to be crazy.
Fresh tires, got Brave now. I can get on the high side, and that's like you said, as they run on the high side, it's going to get rubbered in further and further up.
Well, everyone will be takers here. You cannot afford to stay out under yellow, and they were pretty close to the window anyway. About 50 laps, maybe as far as 55 or 56, as far as anyone can go on a tank of Sunoco. The story in qualifying was about the Hondas, the top 8. Well, the Chevys definitely could race. Newgarden second, Power third, Carpenter fifth, Pagenaud sixth. The race right now being led by a Honda, Tristan Vautier. Pits are open. We'll see him come in this time.
Great progress from Simon Pagenaud as well, up 6 positions since the start. The winner at the Phoenix Oval race. Again, had a really tough Indy 500 month, but he's coming back strong tonight as well. Where's Castroneves? Because his pit stops are always lightning fast. He's 13th, so let's watch Castroneves too on this full course yellow stop. He could gain as many as 5 or 6 if he does a Penske perfect stop like they're famous for.
Vautier, this will be his first stop now in a couple years, so he has the potential of losing a couple of spots here just from lack of experience over the last couple years.
Good point. We'll keep an eye on the leader. Tristan Vautier will have a clean entry to get things started. They'll pit off of turn 4 under caution. And there's the line coming up where they hit the 60-mile-per-hour limit, and Tristan Vautier is headed to you, Katie.
Kevin, Tristan Vautier making bold moves to lead in his first IndyCar start in nearly 2 years. Let's see if his team can keep him up front. Jan?
Josef Newgarden, his only complaint so far is he cannot see his fuel number. They're putting on scuffed Firestones as they all recommended. Marty?
9th to 3rd for Will Power. Bottom of your screen. He too putting on scuffed Firestones. A very quick stop. They got to get around. Mikhail Aloshin get passed by a couple of cars. His teammate Josef Newgarden wins the race off pit road. No changes for Power to the right in front of me. It is Takuma Sato, Elio Castroneves, and they were pitched down by, I believe, James Hinchcliffe coming down pit road. I mean, this is literally right in front of me where they're sitting on pit road. And when it happened, Elio put his hands in the air as if to say, "What were you thinking?"
James Hinchcliffe lost it coming out of the pit box, half looped it, collected Castroneves, which straightened him out, and then Castroneves got pinballed over into Sato, who's leaving straight out of his box.
James Hinchcliffe dominated
looks okay on TV.
Almost all of this race last year. Now involved in this on pit lane. Does he have damage? The other two have big damage.
Hinchcliffe's car might be okay. Remember, it's a harder compound tire than they've run in the past here at Texas, and that makes it difficult without tire warmers to get the power down out of your box. Hinchcliffe just lost it. Marty?
Seems like the damage for Elio Castroneves much less. Roger Penske just told him we're fine. They just had to crank the car back up, and I believe eventually they're going to have to replace that front wing. Meanwhile, for the Indy 500 winner, Takuma Sato, they are having to replace that entire front wing for him. You see it finally going back on, and all the adjustments being made for the Indy 500 winner now leaving pit road. He will drop all the way down into the 19th position, guys.
He lost the lap. Castroneves barely kept his lap. But as we watch here, Townsend pick this up.
There's Hinchcliffe up there. Watch him. He's going to lay the power down. He's drag racing Castroneves, and he just over gooses it. Comes right across in front of Castroneves, who then collects Sato, who was leaving out of the first pit stall. Let's look at it from another angle. On board with Hinch.
Clear.
Now, would you call that an avoidable contact in the pits? Is that a penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you make contact with another car in the pits, you might get drive-through for that.
Jan, what's going on?
Well, Charlie Kimball has not left from his pit stop. Apparently, there's oil coming out from underneath the car. The quick lift comes, and they're having to push him away. So, leading so much of the race, his day may be done.
He's already fallen down a lap.
Remember how many Hondas popped at the Indy 500? Charlie Kimball was one of them, along with Alonso, Ryan Hunter-Reay. So strange to see that happen on a pit stop. Not sure if that's engine related, but I have to think so.
He's going back to the garage. He's already led more oval laps than in any other IndyCar event. We'll hear from Alexander Rossi coming up under caution from Texas. Watch every IndyCar on NBC Race Online, on tablet and connected TV devices with the NBC Sports app. Download the app or find out more at NBCSports.com. Under caution for the Alexander Rossi crash, and then another incident on pit road. That's Josef Newgarden, who was leading the race, but he's been penalized for a pit speed violation and will move to the back along with J.R. Hildebrand. Let's check in now with Robin.
All right, the good news is Alexander Rossi's okay. The bad news is you were in a bad situation going into 3.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our car started off when we were struggling a little bit, but then as the high line started to come in, our car actually came to us. So it's unfortunate because the car was getting good and the track was coming in. I think it was going to turn out to be a pretty decent night. But yeah, I went to pass Tony on the inside of 3, and Scott made it 3 wide, and there's 2 lanes here where there's not 3.
And you were starting to make the top work for your car.
Yeah, no, I was getting really excited because like I said, we struggled in the beginning, but then I went up high a couple times and it was starting to work and was moving our way back up. And then to have that happen so early is unnecessary and unfortunate.
All right, we'll see you at Elkhart Lake. Kevin?
All right, we're getting set to go again here shortly as they start working back up to speed. Will the pace car pull in this time? Yes, he will. So we mentioned Newgarden penalized. Also, J.R. Hildebrand penalized. Back to green at Texas Motor Speedway. So it's Will Power out in front. Tristan Vautier right behind him. Then Scott Dixon, Ed Carpenter, and Simon Pagenaud.
Big stop for the Ganassi team. Move Scott Dixon from 9th up to 3rd on that stop. Kanaan making a move on his teammate. And look at Vautier. He's going for it again on fresh tires. Dixon side by side with Kimball. Tony Kanaan working the high side. But look at Vautier clearly disregarding the request from the team to just ride for a bit. He wants to lead this thing. Car's low, tire pressures are still coming up. His car's sparking, hitting the ground. So they've obviously started with a little bit less tire pressure than Will Power's cars. You watch this car spark through the corners coming off the corner here, Townsend. Vautier with a big wiggle in the middle of 3 and 4, riding low as you said there. And here comes Scott Dixon.
Dixon was fast in the test, fast in practice, started second. Now he's going to try to grab the second spot, but Vautier is still not ready to give it up. Vautier's car is really strong on the high side, still bottoming out a little bit. Tire pressure still coming up, but Scott Dixon has obviously made some changes, Townsend, and his car has come alive again. Well, I said at the start of the race, Scott Dixon has an uncanny ability to rely on his raw talent in these new track situations. Sure, we've raced in Texas before, but it's reconfigured and it's all new, and Scott Dixon is learning fast what it takes to win. The issue you have here, we got a penalty, I think, Marty.
This would be a penalty for James Hinchcliffe coming down pit road. This is for avoidable contact on pit road. They told him he had to do a pass-through. He said, what for? They said a penalty for avoidable contact on pit road. Silence on the radio. They then told him on the radio, listen, what has happened has happened. Move forward. Let's move on from this.
He didn't lose a lap, but they're going to eat him up.
Oh, boy, what a great camera angle. Imagine what that's like, folks, trying to come out on a field that's bearing down on you. James Hinchcliffe trying to get up to speed. Here comes Ed Carpenter to the high side. I can tell you from experience that is no fun.
James Hinchcliffe was running 10th before the drive-through after he lost it on pit lane and collected 2 others.
I love how Hinchcliffe says, what for?
Well, maybe his argument would be if you make a mistake and simply crash, you're not usually penalized.
Well, but when you take out 2 cars, trust me, I've been there. It's deserved.
Vautier's gotten back by Scott Dixon and now is back charging for the lead. So this guy is part-time, could be a one-race deal, and these guys are all battling for the championship. So I'm surprised they really want to race him that hard. Keep an eye on Carlos Munoz working his way up. He started last. He's up to 10th and just turned the fastest lap of the race.
But Paul, you got to remember, we're here at Texas. This place races like a short oval, and you get into that crazy mind mode where it's absolutely go for it, gladiator style, and everybody gets sucked into that mentality. I don't care who you are.
Side by side at the front for the lead again. Power in the silver Verizon car. Vautier in the white and red Dale Coyne Racing car on the outside. And they're side by side for second now, too. That's Pagenaud in the white and black car on the high side of the blue and white car of Scott Dixon. We'll watch this and hear from Katie.
And Carlos Munoz has moved up 12 positions since the start of this race. Remember, he was last year's pole sitter, but since then, he's changed over to AJ Foyt Racing, and they didn't make their tech time for qualifying, so he was unable to qualify. When I asked him about his car earlier today, he said it's kind of a big question mark. They aren't sure how their speed stacks up against the rest of the field, so they're kind of just working on the downforce level as they go. During that last stop, they put 2 turns into the front wing. Kevin?
Castroneves has moved all the way back through the field up to 11th already. These Penske cars are come alive tonight. He started at the rear of the field with that incident in the pits, and he's already moved back up to 11th behind Hunter Ray.
Well, we talked about Carlos Munoz. We'll see him at the back of the screen as Vautier tries to go side by side on the high side with Will Power again. And also Ed Jones, many thought should have been the Rookie of the Year, 3rd in Indianapolis. He told me yesterday they had just way too much downforce.
Whoa, Castroneves goes 3 wide, slices to the inside.
Castroneves making move on Hunter Ray back there and almost lost it, did Castroneves on the dive to the inside.
Scott Dixon, you can see that he's moved himself and was more racy after the pit stop. Just checked with the team. They lowered the pressures a little bit, the tire pressures on the right-hand side. You're also seeing right behind him, you're seeing Simon Pagenaud, who's been very happy with this race car, similar to what we talked about earlier with Josef Newgarden. And he said he learned from Gilles de Ferran. Look at the end game. Don't worry about leading now. Look at where this race is going later.
And guys, this has been some incredible racing here at Texas. And PT, you mentioned Helio Castroneves is in a hurry to get to the front. Restarted 16th, now in the 10th position. They pitted 3 times. He was worried about the left front suspension. Said he couldn't really get a good feel for it because all he was trying to do is catch the back of the pack. I would say the suspension is fine. Helio's got a quick car.
Got to give a shout out to the guy right on Castroneves' tail, Gabby Chavez. Here, he had a good run at Indianapolis. It's a brand new team with Larry Curry, and he is running with the lead dogs here, Townsend.
He's mixing it up in the thick of the pack. That's a nice improvement over Indy. He did finish 9th there, but he really didn't factor until late in the race. He's going to have to hold off Hunter Ray as Castroneves goes to the high side.
Right around Carlos Munoz trying to make that one stick. Settle in, stay with us. So much more to come. It is fierce so far at Texas Motor Speedway. Will Power is in front. Welcome back to the Rainguard Water Sealers 600 at Texas Motor Speedway. Kevin Lee, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy in the booth as Will Power continues to lead this fierce battle. Simon Pagenaud, his teammate, is now second. Tristan Vautier is running in third. Scott Dixon and Mikhail Loshin rounding out the top 5. Well, we're a couple of weeks past the Indianapolis 500. So many storylines, including a 2-time Formula One world champion, Fernando Alonso, joining us in Indy for the first time. He's back in his regular job at the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend for McLaren in Formula One. And Fernando joins us on the phone now. Indy was one thing. Certainly it was entertaining and exciting. What do you think about ever doing something like Texas Motor Speedway, Fernando? Can you imagine this type of racing side by side for lap after lap?
Well, hello everyone. Yeah, from Canada. Amazing. I saw a couple of videos from last year's race on Twitter the last couple of days, and it looked spectacular. And yeah, I'm following the race now here on the computer, and yeah, there was some drama on the pit lane with Takuma and with Helio, and yeah, obviously the Rossi accident. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, and you know, the race is super cool to watch.
Hey, Fernando, Paul Tracy, it looked like you had a great run at Indy and a great experience, but how was it did you enjoy all the drivers? It looked like you got really friendly with Tony Kanaan and you guys were messing around all the time. How did you like the attitude of the drivers? You guys race, everybody races each other hard, but everybody gets along and is really good friends.
It was truly a great experience for me, and all the drivers there, they were amazing from day one. They tried to help me as much as they could. obviously you want to beat everyone when you are on the track, but outside the track, you know, I felt a lot of respect. Obviously, you know, the speeds that you are doing on the oval racing are great, so you need to have, you know, that respect from each other. And yeah, cool guys. Also my teammates, you know, a lot of work together inside the team, which is probably different compared to F1. So yeah, the whole month it was you know, a new thing for me, and I really miss already that feeling.
Fernando, the IndyCar, this is Townsend Bell. The IndyCar season's over in September. Paul and I are looking for a job. Is there any chance we could manage your yacht or something over the fall, or maybe curate some art for you?
I'm sure you can find something here in F1. You know, not on my side, but you know, maybe I need a spotter or something for the final part of the race. Racing in Austin at the end of September, so you are more than welcome.
You got it, buddy. You did a great job in Indy. We were rooting for you, and we will be watching tomorrow in Montreal. We hope you can pull off a miracle.
2 o'clock on NBC tomorrow.
All right, I will try.
Fernando, I want to ask one more thing. You've been very open and honest about the uncertainty of your future. You want to be in a winning Formula One ride and a chance for a 3rd World Championship. Is there any scenario, if you don't find a spot that you're happy with in Formula One, would you consider IndyCar full-time?
Why not? I mean, I'm very open to anything. You know, I don't have a clear answer right now. I will lie to you if I tell you that I know what is going to happen next year. So, you know, watching now the race, these guys, they are, you know, the best guys in oval racing. So I don't know if the full season, you know, I have to learn many things to do one race. I need to learn so many more, you know, to do the full season. So let's say that I'm more ready to do the F1. I kind of just try and find the best car possible out there. I will look at different options, but yeah, the IndyCar 100 is the first priority for the Triple Crown, and the full season maybe is another thing, but why not?
Fair enough. It was great to watch you go through the experience at Indianapolis. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Look at James
Thank you very
Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe, thanks Fernando, trying to get his lap back as James Hinchcliffe. He is on a tear. Guys, that was like trying to order a pizza while a house was on fire. Unbelievable action here at Texas, and Hinchcliffe desperately, Paul, wants that lap back.
He's driving in complete anger. He was miffed that he got a penalty for contact in the pit lane, and he wants his lap back, and hopefully a yellow will come out. If a yellow does come out, he's going to get his lap back, but he wants to get to the front of the field.
And guys, it's been fun to watch him. And as you heard earlier in the show, Graham Rahal say he was a little angry that he didn't win Indy because he felt like he had the car, so he went out and won back-to-back races in Detroit. Like you mentioned, PT, I think Hinchcliffe very angry right now that he got that penalty, trying to unlap himself. And how about Elio Castroneves? He has certainly moved up through the field as well. We mentioned a moment ago, since then, he's gained even more spots, plus 12 right now for Elio. He's in the 4th position, and the car clearly very good for Elio right now. It's a lot of fun to watch these guys come up through the field. So the pit road incident certainly not hurting these two. They've got a lot of speed inside those cars, Jan.
Josef Newgarden is making a stop because he's come on the radio saying that he has a very bad vibration. Now, this is earlier than the leaders would like to stop, but when you have a vibration, that's a 6.4 second stop for Josef Newgarden. This is within the window, so we will see the leaders stopping soon, but now for Josef Newgarden, he'll have to save some fuel and hope this set doesn't have a vibration.
Watching James Hinchcliffe, he's going for that big over-under move. He's getting way up high here as he makes a move on Simon Pagenaud. There's not enough to go around the outside, but watch him, Townsend, here. He'll sweep to the outside to the wall. See right there, he pops out, and he's going to try to do the over-under coming off right here.
It's so dangerous, though, to do the over-under, to start high and try to cross over in that dirty air. We've seen lots of guys wreck in years past trying to make that work, but right now, Hinchcliffe throwing caution to the wind. He has to get that lap back.
And you see Simon Pagenaud there to the left. He's been on the radio communicating with his team and Will Power. Look how close that is. He has said, I'm not going to try to pass Will. We will work together and pull together, draft each other. And you can see when you do that, that makes it that much harder for Hinchcliffe.
Watch the Penske cars now all moving to the front. First, second, and there's Castroneves now in effectively 3rd place. Take James Hinchcliffe out of that. He's a lap down. So it's a Penske 1, 2, 3 right now. Chevy, 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 and it was a Honda domination 1 through 9 in qualifying. So the Chevys are moving to the front.
And look who they're closing on. That's Josef Newgarden, who finished that stop, who's 1 lap down, and he will not want to go 2 laps down. So it's a Penske 1 lap down, leading 2 Penskes that are coming up to lap him.
And guys, the clock also ticking for Josef Newgarden, for James Hinchcliffe, because he knows that these guys are going to come to pit road here in the next 5 to 10 laps or so. So he's trying to get this back on the lead lap within the next 5 or 10 laps. What happened a moment ago to his teammate Josef Newgarden may be happening to Helio Castroneves now. He too said he has a vibration developing on the 3 car. He's moved up into the 3rd position right now, but how long do you leave it out there, guys, knowing that they've had blistered tires so far this weekend? You don't want to chance that vibration too long.
What a recovery by Castroneves, Townsend, to get back up to 3rd, and he's run the fastest lap of the race at over 222 miles per hour. Hinchcliffe and Pagenaud side by side as Hinch tries to work his way back on the lead lap.
And if this stays green, we're about to see a big unknown, which is how fast and how aggressive can you get to pit lane under green flag conditions here at Texas. Remember, they will pit entering off 3 on that new apron that's untested. Let's watch a replay here on the back stretch. This is the 19 and trying to go around Tony Kanaan.
Tony Kanaan had eyes in the ball. Oh, Castroneves in the wall. I wonder what happened here. Oh, he's going to hit the inside wall real hard as well. He's got no steering. Car's on fire.
So Penske was running 1, 2, 3 with Castroneves in 3rd. And he has gone through a big hit.
And guys, it's about the same number of laps from when Alexander Rossi crashed. That was around 38 laps. You throw in the 11 laps of yellow, and now we're back into the same window. The final, say, 10 to 15 laps of the stint, and that's where it seems to be a handful for these guys. Hopefully Castroneves is going to be okay here.
The way the impact on the car looks, it looks like he might have gone for the real high side and lost the front end and hit the wall. Not sure if he had a spin. The tire marks we see right here are from Rossi's car, so that's not the Castroneves. It happened in 1 and 2.
He crossed off at 2. I wonder if he got high or got forced up higher than he wanted to be. There's the impact. You can see the foam and the debris as the Homatro safety truck comes in to inspect the safer barrier to see if that needs to be repaired. That's a pretty big impact. Look at the angle, Paul, of this skid mark right here. That's a bad angle.
Well, they've widened the track from the years past. It's about 20 feet wider than it used to be, and that has created a bit more of a bad angle if you lose it. But we'll get a replay here with a lotion. We'll see what happens. And I don't know if there was contact here.
Might have cut a tire.
Very close to each other. Castroneves has got a run on the car in front, but
he's got that rear bumper guard that might protect a cut tire, but it certainly looked like a lotion barely got into him.
Oh, he got a flat. Yeah, something broke, or he got a flat tire. Just kind of skated up the track and hit the outside wall on the exit. So it was a glancing blow. It wasn't a half spin and hit the wall, but either something in the suspension broke or that contact earlier in the race with James Hinchcliffe. He said something was bent in the car, and they looked around the rear, so maybe something finally let go.
I think it could have been, and it looked like a maybe left rear suspension perhaps. That's a big impact, and they're taking their time getting him out of there. Marty, what do you hear?
Well, guys, remember he had just reported a few laps earlier, and we just said on the air that he had a vibration that he felt like was coming from the right front. His teammate Josef Newgarden did indeed have a blistered right front that came off of his car, so that's what they're thinking is that tire finally might have let go on Helio Castroneves' car.
And Marty, I was able to take a look at that tire that came off the number 2 of Josef Newgarden, and yes, indeed, it was heavily blistered on the right front. So that was the reason for his vibration. And as we can see, Castroneves climbing from the car, you could speculate that could have possibly been the issue, as you say, for Castroneves as well.
What a great sign that is to see. He sat for a little while. They wanted to check and make sure all is good. Nobody better than the Homatro safety team. Big hit for Helio Castroneves, but he walks under his own power to the safety vehicle.
On board with Dixon. Let's watch up ahead. Castroneves is 1 in front of the 7.
Yeah,
tough to say.
You watch it, hold the bottom. For sure something broke on the car or the tire went down. He just went straight. The car took off straight, so
And what do you think Scott Dixon is thinking after what happened in Indianapolis? Someone hitting the outside, sliding back down. Get me out of this.
You know, if he might have blistered that front tire, it could have went flat immediately, and then the car took off across the track.
But the sparks on the left rear, if you flatted the right front, I wouldn't expect to see the sparks on the back. It almost looked like the left rear collapsed, perhaps.
Well,
I would say it's the impact on pit lane. That was pretty heavy contact.
And the left rear is what was in contact with James Hinchcliffe's car as they bounced off of each other, and they took a look around the left rear of the car before they sent him out to run. He obviously had one of the fastest cars in the field because he came through the field faster than anybody, but something caught up with him in the end.
Either way, when you think about the force of that impact, the kind of crash Scott Dixon had at Indy, the kind of crash Sebastian Bourdais had at Indianapolis that he'll make a full recovery from, I mean, these are huge impacts, Paul, that 10 years ago we wouldn't have seen guys walking out of these cars.
No, not at all. I mean, back in the day when we first came to run here, we were talking about it on the show yesterday. When Gugelman hit turn 2, he didn't stop until halfway around 3 and 4.
235-mile-an-hour laps back in the day. The drivers were close to passing out. The G-forces were so high, but they're still going really fast, over 220 miles an hour here at Texas. But the safety team, the safer barrier, all of that. Look at all the debris that the guys are still running over there from Castroneves.
This will take a little while. By the way, fast speeds, Charlie Kimball set a qualifying record yesterday. So the pits are going to be open this time by, and we're still on pace for a 4-stopper. So they were pretty close to their window as well as we work through lap 95, about 50 laps, maybe a little more available per tank. Here they come. Hitting the line, 60 miles per hour. We start again with Katie.
And Kevin, Tony Kanaan expected this to be a follow the leader race, and that is not at all what it has turned out to be. He is pretty happy over the radio, but as the track cools down, his team is just telling him to use the weight jacker in his car. Jan?
Simon Pagenaud's getting his service, and I looked at the right front tire. It only had a few small blisters. Marty?
Will Power already leaving his pit stall with some scuffed Firestone tires. He said he's making adjustments inside the car to kind of keep up with the track, which is changing. 6-7 on the stop from Will Power. He's holds serve on the lead, Kevin.
Top 2, in fact, maintain their positions. Mikhail Aloshin loses a couple. Scott Dixon and Tony Kanaan gain 1.
I was watching Hunter Ray. He is still in the pit lane. They made a big wing change. He's been not running well, but I saw them going to take the side pod off the car, so it's been a rough night for Ryan Hunter Ray.
Another entertaining restart is not too far away. Fans are being entertained tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Rainguard Water Sealers, the future in non-toxic wood, concrete, and brick surface protection, and by Allstate Motorcycle Insurance. Are you in good hands? Next time around, we'll go back to green flag racing after the second caution. The first, an Alexander Rossi crash, and now Elio Castroneves in a crash. Both drivers are out. We'll wait to hear from Elio in just a moment. Also, Charlie Kimball, the pole sitter who led early in this race, officially out.
And we understand that there was an oil leak, but the engine was still running, so must have been some other issue. Guys, 19 cars left in this race. I can say hand on heart, 19 cars can win this race. Everybody has a chance.
There have been some huge movers. Munoz up 13, Hildebrand up 12, Pagenaud up 10 for the start. Pagenaud restarts in second, right behind his teammate Will Power. Back to green at Texas Motor Speedway with the two Ganassis behind and a spin from behind, and that is Ed Carpenter.
Ed Carpenter, what a save. Danny Sullivan style from 1985.
I think he had contact with Vautier. I think Vautier came down. His tires are flat spotted.
Yeah, I got damage.
I think Vautier made a little chop on him. I think they might have had contact. Let's check this out with his in-car. See Vautier right here in front of him. I think Vautier chopped over on him right there and touched his front wing.
I don't know if that was the case or if Ed dropped his left front off the apron on that edge. We might see it again in slow-mo.
I don't think he didn't get any grass there. Didn't look like he got any grass. I think he just got chopped a little bit and then had to jump on the brakes and lost it.
I don't know. That edge, a lot of drivers complaining about this edge. Let's watch this. Right there, look at the left front. Nope, you're right, Paul.
I'm always right.
Yeah.
What a remarkable save, though.
That's a good save. He
goes around and gets it in the right direction.
He's going to have to come in and get some tires and maybe get a front wing.
And one of the issues is Ed did not want to have to put a left front on the grass because of the lip there. and he just ran out of room.
I know you're the one driving it, but it's our impression that when we run the high line, it opens us up to all sorts of attacks from all different angles.
It's Craig Hampson talking to Tristan Vautier.
Coaching his driver. It's been a couple years since Vautier's run. He's so strong on the high side, but what Craig is basically telling him is got to protect the bottom line because it just opens you up for guys sticking it down the inside, Townsend.
Especially if you have to breathe it a bit or check up a bit on the high side, and then you can't get back down into the traffic, into the single file line of cars down the straightaway. Ed Carpenter to pit lane.
All four, put all four on it.
So they'll do the Firestones first. Let's see if they go for the front wing assembly. I think it's good.
Go ahead.
He might have just felt an excessive vibration from 4 flat spots and thought.
Can't do a spin and win here.
There you go.
That's a shout out to Danny Sullivan, who spun in 1985, didn't hit anything at the Indy 500, came back to win. And Ed Carpenter, who has such a great car, he's had some frustrating runs here the last couple of years, so he knows that he has a chance if he stays on the lead lap like he's done here. He can come back through the field.
Well, he's going to need to catch the rest of that pack because they're all right up there in front of him. So they're going to go green pretty quick because there was nothing on the track. So look for the next lap to go back to green.
So Carpenter, I think, was running 8th. Now he falls back to 19th. The last car on the lead lap. In fact, everyone still in the race is on the lead lap. Let's listen into what Will Power is talking about on the radio.
It can help Simon out if he wants to stay behind me. He needs me to do something that'll help him run in my air.
Yeah, what you were doing before with the line and pace and everything was fine. He was good with that.
That's John Boslog talking to Will Power. Josef Newgarden coming in, taking the opportunity. Remember, he had a pit speed violation earlier and had to serve a penalty, and then also they had to pit off sequence in a vibration, right?
I like that move, though. You're at the tail end of the lead lap. Sure. You got a fast car. Why not top up and put yourself 5 laps, maybe 10 laps to the better on fuel and tires than the rest of the field? Smart move for the number 2.
Newgarden at one point was 1 lap down. He pitted off sequence, but he has been able to work his way back up on the lead lap, and this caution was huge for him. He stayed out during that last pit sequence, got back on the lead lap, and was able to now go ahead and take his service. Let's take a look now at Josef Newgarden, number 2, Team Penske, hummed by Verizon in tonight's Chevy driver profile. I have seen in red portions, and I had my children sample Josef, the IndyCar driver. Excellent book, excellent work. Josef is very active, mountain biking, movies, played high school baseball, great in the community as well. Josef Newgarden still on the lead lap. Jan, what do you have?
And he had a scary moment that we talked about. He pitted early and got off of sequence because of this tire. That was the look of his right front tire that came off. And remember, it was only a few laps later that we heard radio conversation from Helio Castroneves that he also had a vibration.
All right, getting ready to go back to green again here. 106 down of 248. Texas Motor Speedway. It's been fantastic so far. The high line is open up. Here we go again with Will Power leading Simon Pagenaud, Scott Dixon, and Tony Kanaan.
Having looked at those blisters, Townsend, those were not little blisters. Those tires were tore up. As we look at the white car, Vautier on the outside.
He's not listening to Dale Coyne or Craig Hampson. He's saying, guys, that's how I got to the front the last time. Let me run high.
I'm wondering if this is a setup issue that we might see later in the race with the Penske cars like we saw at Phoenix a couple years ago.
Look at this guy, Scott Dixon. It's time to go. Working Simon Pagenaud also up high, and I love how much further up the track everybody's able to run now that it's rubbered in.
2 Penskes, 2 Ganassis, and Dale Coyne Racing running in 5th with Tristan Vautier in his first IndyCar race in a year and a half. Almost 2 years, really.
Vautier's got those sparks flying off the bottom of the car, very similar to James Hinchcliffe last year. We watched Vautier go around the outside of Michaela Lotion. They barely made contact right there.
I'll tell you, that's the second time Michaela Lotion has gotten into somebody. Maybe it was the 3rd time that a Lotion's had contact and kept going. Crazy stuff here.
Full contact event tonight. Here comes Kanaan now on the high side, so he swapped positions with Scott Dixon.
Look at
and
Bodier.
then Bodier going on around the outside of the 4-time champ.
I tell you what, Dixon's car is really good on the short run, but on the long run as they get going, he seems to fall back. But in the first 2 or 3 laps, Dixon is super strong. But as the run goes on, I think the strongest car is Bodier.
Well, as the temperatures cool down a little bit here, I think everybody gets more confident as the natural mechanical grip of the car just increases with lower track temperature. Now,
Bodier goes to third, and I think he's going to go for the lead here in turn 4. He's going to try to go 3 wide.
Whoa.
The first guy to try it, but he backs off. Woo!
How are you, if you're Dale Coyne, how do you balance the enthusiasm with winning versus the freak out of crashing another car? Bodier putting everything on the line right now.
I think Dale's just in the mindset now. He wants to win races. He's got a guy with some experience. They got a shot at winning this race, and you just got to let the guy go and do his job.
We're not even halfway here at Texas, guys, and this track has already transformed back to the old Texas that we know and love.
Think about what Dale Coyne Racing has done this year. Sebastian Bourdais in the 18 was leading the championship. James Davison steps in. He hadn't been in the car for a couple years as we ride along with Mikhail Aloshin and see 3 wide for a moment. The 2 Foyt cars are in the mix there.
The guy we haven't talked about all night is Connor Daly. Has moved all the way through the pack, and he's up there with the lead group now.
Daly 10th, Munoz 7th, so AJ Foyt, Super Texas, having a Super Texas race tonight.
I wanted to go back to Coyne and what James Davison did at Indy. He ran with the leaders, and now here on a challenging oval, their car is again running up at the front. Jan?
You've been talking about the Foyt cars as we see moves through the field. Connor Daly, as you mentioned, up to 10th place, said, my car will just not run on its own, but it works great in traffic. Well, guess what? He's been in traffic all day.
Well, he's going to be in traffic all night for sure. The question is, if you get that car to the front, how do you get to the lead and hang there?
He had a great test at St. Louis. They've obviously found something in race trim. They just need to get those AJ Foyt cars qualified better. They started last and second last, but they both moved through the field. Munoz in 7th and Daly in 10th.
This is so fun to watch, guys. At the front of the field, it seems like Dixon and Kanaan, they want to try to settle in and run, and then all of a sudden, some of these young guns, like Aloshin and Bodier, start to mix it up, and they say, oh, I want to get back up to the front. So not a lot of patience from some of the young guns, and the veterans don't want to fall out of the top 4 or 5.
Meanwhile, back in the pack, Ed Carpenter, who had been racing, he had to restart at 19th. He's only been able to make up 1 more spot so far. We saw James Hinchcliffe for a moment, a lap down at one point. He's on the lead lap and running in 16th.
Ed Jones doing a good job. We just saw him poke his nose down the inside of Munoz. He's running in 8th. Three seconds covers the whole field, and about a 1/10 of a second covers the first 3, Townsend.
Ooh, and look at Tony Kanaan trying to sneak it up the inside of Pagano. I think Pagano's content to just run second place to his wingman, Will Power, but Kanaan wants to mix it up. Kanaan wants to lead this race.
I heard him say on the radio earlier, he goes, if I'm in second place, I'll just ride behind Power. So he's obviously working the fuel mileage as we see Dixon lifts off the gas as he gets a run on the outside of Pagano.
It was interesting. Pagano was leaving the door open a little bit on the bottom side, maybe not a full lane. Now Kanaan trying to go to the inside on Pagano. Pagano is going to hang on to that position. Meanwhile, Bodier is still right there in 4th. Dixon, Aloshin, Munoz, Ed Jones, J.R. Hildebrand, and Connor Daly, the top 10 in Texas.
Surprised that Tony Kanaan is pushing as hard as he is to try to make a move here. Only at half distance, and I think it's Tristan Bodier that keeps tempting Kanaan into thinking, I've got to stay in front of Bodier. Katie?
Kevin, you and I have been covering rookie Ed Jones for nearly 3 years now. We saw his very first start on an oval at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in 2015, and he looked like a deer in the headlights. He was terrified of his first start on the oval. Then I talked to him just after Indy and coming here into Texas. He said with that podium at Indy, he found something that makes him really relaxed and confident. Now, these ovals are his favorite type of course, Kevin.
He said yesterday that this was the most comfortable he had ever been on an oval track. He said it was almost boring in qualifying. We had so much downforce. He felt great at the practice.
Well, there's no time to relax here, Townsend. It is a old school pack race like we used to see in the past.
Well, what are we going to see in the second half of this race? Because the first half has been nothing short of electric.
We are nearing the midpoint at Texas Motor Speedway. Penske's up front, Power, Pagenaud, then Ganassi's Kanaan, Coins, Vautier, and then another Ganassi with Scott Dixon. Laps are now flying by at Texas Motor Speedway. We are past the midpoint for the Rainguard Water Sealers 600. Paul Tracy, Townsend Bell, Kevin Lee, Marty Snyder, Katie Hargey, Jan Beekes, Robin Miller, and lots of racing like this, side by side. Mikhail Aloshin and the rookie Ed Jones down on the bottom side, and Aloshin will manage to maintain that position.
These guys have been tied to each other for a couple laps as we see Kanaan is trying to wrangle away second place from Simon Pagenaud, but Simon does not want to give it up. He is content to run in line with his teammate Will Power, who is also content to lead, Townsend.
And Paul, you see things start to spread out just a little bit, and that's the fact that we're about 15 laps for the next pit stop. But look at the temperature. Start of the race 103. We're now at 94. That'll continue to drop, and so will the track temperature. But this is the time in the tire stint where these cars start to become a lot bigger deal to hang on to try to run that high line. So look for cars starting to squirm around, guys trying to hang on to the balance of the cars and make the adjustments they need to survive the last 10 laps until they pit.
We've had blistering problems on 2 Penske cars so far. We have 2 Penske cars out front. We haven't gotten a look at their tires, but we're getting now into the window of tire wear, and we'll see if these guys have any issues with their tires as we come up close on our next round of stops.
Here's a look at our Firestone telemetry on board with Tony Kanaan.
See what Tony Kanaan does. I think he's now resigned to the fact that he's going to hang out here in third place. Look at Simon Pagenaud finding clean air up high. This is starting to look like a situation where you're going to have to position yourself. If the end of the race looks this way, it's going to be really hard to hang on to and work up on a car in front.
Tony's got to run here. He might go for the outside, but
now
you hear him breathing it. So he's content, I think, now to sit as long as Vautier doesn't start to attack him.
Guys, you see the 2 Team Penske cars up front. Will Power, Simon Pagenaud playing nice with each other, and that's really by design. They're trying to stay in line as much as they can, because if you run side by side, the guys behind you can catch you as much as a second a lap. So you guys are right. They're playing nice up front because that's what they want to do, get away from the rest of the field as much as they can. And also, a lot of engineers down here a little bit worried about what they're calling the danger zone, about lap 145. That's 50 laps into the run. Twice tonight, we've seen tires let go or have blistering issues, so they're worried about that. We're approaching that time right now.
And Marty Tony Kanaan continues to look for a way around, running in third, and here comes Tristan Vautier on the high side again. And our Chevrolet driver update, we mentioned before, it looked like it might be dominated by Honda, the top 8 qualifying positions, but very mixed up in the race. Chevy's 1-2 with Team Penske, and then AJ Ford Racing and Carlos Munoz running in 8th, next best of the Chevys.
I'm telling you, I think the Del Coin car of Vautier's on the long run is probably the best car in the field, because he dropped back a little bit. We've got yellow.
Yellow flag.
Don't know if there's a crash. We haven't seen anything yet, but Newgarden.
Stop, right, sorry.
That's Tim Cindric talking.
He said sorry on the radio. We'll have a look at it right now. He's in the warm-up lane. Either he's blown a motor or something. Oh, he's coming into the pit lane and decided to come out, so.
Okay, so he was not the reason for the caution.
No,
So
you're allowed to do that, even if you're on the apron. You're allowed to bail out if the pits are closed, which they will be as soon as the yellow comes on. We're not sure what the yellow was for. There's a safety truck in turn 2, and it looks like they're scanning for debris.
So this works out very well for everyone, because they were maybe 5 to 10 laps away from where they wanted to pit.
Well, we'll get a good look now under yellow. We'll get our guys in the pit lane can run up and down and take a jog up and down the pit lane, Marty, and take a look at all these tires. Who's got blistering problems and who doesn't, because that's going to be key for the end of the race. Robin, we got Helio?
Yeah, we got Helio, and we were a little concerned because we saw Terry Trammell run down here. How you feeling, kid?
No, I'm feeling good. It looks like I had too much drink right now, which I didn't. But unfortunately, I felt vibration 4 laps ago before the incident, and the right front tire gave up. Right in the middle of 1 and 2, I wasn't inside, and there was nothing I could do. This is not like like NASCAR that you hit, come back, change tire, and go again. It was a big hit. I have to thank all the safety crew and the safety wall as well, because I remember when this used to be concrete. Woo! It hurts a lot.
And you made a great comeback from the you came from the back to the front again.
Yeah, no, the car was awesome. I mean, I had no problem, to be honest. There was a little bit of a shoving, people chopping you down, but the tracks start coming in. I had a phenomenal car. AAA Chevy was really, really good. I knew I could be up there, but unfortunately, it wasn't our day.
Glad you're walking, taking Excedrin. Kevin?
Well, it is great to see that Elio is okay. Pit stops, and we saw really the top three go out as they came in.
I wonder if Helio, when he said I had too much to drink, Townsend, that he maybe drank a lot when he got out of the car and got sick. No. You know, your adrenaline is pumping so hard after an accident, he might have just got sick to his stomach.
I think what Elio means is I clobbered the wall and I'm feeling pretty woozy. I mean, that was a huge hit.
Or at least they were checking him for that, whether he was woozy or not. But certainly when you take a hit like that, they're going to look into that. All right, another restart. They've been great so far is coming up. Will Powers in front, under caution at Texas.
Texas was just, it was craziness.
And it came down to these series of shootouts on restarts, trying to essentially drive all three cars. I was trying to drive Tony's car, Graham's car, my car, put us all where I wanted us to be.
My sole focus was Hinch. My whole concept was to try to get Hinchcliffe to leave the bottom lane open.
We crossed the line to get the white flag. I saw that Graham had cleared Tony. With the momentum he had from the high line of the draft, I was kind of a sitting duck, and he cleared me so fast. But it almost worked against him, because then I had enough time to duck back into the draft, and I thought maybe we still got a shot at this.
Rahal and Hinchcliffe to the line! Graham Rahal has won at Texas Motor Speedway!
0.008 of a second.
We deserve that one we got wrong today. That was awesome! That was awesome!
Well, we wondered if that could possibly be top, but so far we look like we might be in store for something similar. The racing has been brilliant here so far tonight. Under our fourth caution right now, and Max Chilton is the leader. He stayed out, but he hasn't pitted in now 50 laps, but he did work his way from 16th to the front, so he's gambling there's another caution soon.
I'm wondering why he's doing that. The only thing I can think is if he thinks that they might be a little tight the rest of the field on one more stop for fuel, and he's going to try to pit and go to the back of the field and be able to run full Rich. Marco Andretti back on pit lane bumping up.
Yeah, the problem for Chilton is if he has to do a pit stop under green, he'll lose a lap for sure. If he runs into tire blistering problems in the next 10 laps, we have got cars already with blisters at that amount of laps. So as we see right here, Marty.
Yeah, and guys, certainly not something you want to see. And usually as a race goes on, this does get better, but this is the right front off of Graham Rahal's car. You can see all the way around blistering on that right front. Now, depending on how you're handling, you have a little bit of understeer. That right front will show the blisters. If you have oversteer, that right rear will show the blisters. We're seeing it kind of up and down pit road, so it's going to be very interesting to see if that's an issue moving forward. And again, it's about 50 laps into the run, about 10 laps before they're going to stop when you see tires like that, Katie.
So you guys noticed that Max Chilton and the 8 team did not pit when everybody else came to pit road. I asked the team, why not? They said, we needed to get Max out in some clean air. I said, well, so now you're going to pit under green? And they said, well, guess we'll see.
Well, I think they got a bank on a yellow, Townsend, but obviously they must not have a tire blistering problem. Otherwise, you would never take that gamble.
Why would you do that? That sounds like a massive gamble to me. I mean, we've had no yellows on starts or restarts. They've all come late in the stint. If he pits under green, he's a lap and a half down. The race is done for him.
When he got up front in Indianapolis, he stayed up front, but this is a very different circumstance. Worn tires, he's going to need to pit soon. They've been trying to restart, but Chilton has gone a little bit early. He gets a great jump again here, and we're green again at Texas Motor Speedway. The battle is for second position.
I didn't think he went early. I just don't think Power wants to bother racing with him because he knows his races with Simon Pagenaud and TK. So,
and Chilton's car is about 100 pounds lighter because it doesn't have any fuel in it.
Good point. How long can he stay out? We have had multiple cautions, 2 of them during this last stint. Side by side back in the pack.
Will Power to the outside of Chilton there.
You can see the fresh tires now as he may easily Well, not that easy. He looked like he was going to easily clear Chilton. He'll probably have him here if he pins him real tight. Yeah, he had to give it up, Chilton, on the bottom.
And
so
Pagano slid up wide behind Will Power looking for clean air. Here comes Tristan Vautier with Tony Kanaan.
So we know now if it's the end of the race that you're going to want to take tires if it's a 2 or 3 lap shootout because tires are better than used tires.
How about James Hinchcliffe in that golden black car?
Outside.
Kanaan nearly got up too high. He stays into it, but Hinchcliffe in the Aero car, remember, he had a penalty for contact on pit lane. He was a lap down. Now he's back up to 5th. Remember that finish last year that we just documented again between him and Rahal.
Vautier must have had to check up big time because he's getting chewed up, dropping back 2 or 3 positions there. Now starting to get the momentum going, and look at this, we're 3 wide at Texas.
Max Chilton's still hanging on. He didn't have a fast enough car to sit out front, but he's comfortably now in 2nd. We just have to watch and see how long those tires last as he starts to make a move on Will Power. Hinchcliffe now coming up around the outside. He was a lap down earlier, the first guy to go 3 wide, and it doesn't work yet.
But Hinchcliffe backed out in the drivers' meeting today. The drivers were warned and reminded as they nearly come together.
There it goes.
That's the big one. That's the big one.
Big crash.
Oh boy. Hildebrand, Jones, Hinchcliffe, Aloshin, and then many others up front. This and Hunter Ray is about as big as we ever see in IndyCar.
Little oil fire there for Hunter Ray on the headers, and you can see the frustration from, I think that's either Connor Daly or Munoz. The front and rear was knocked off.
Well, we knew it was going to happen at some point. He came off turn 2 and got down on the side draft of Tony Kanaan, touched his back tire with his front tire, and then got into it looked like he got into a tank slapper kind of back and forth.
How smart does Max Chilton look right now?
Wow.
Not taking tires or stopping on that yellow, and here's the yellow on the restart that I didn't think would happen.
And now a lot of the fast guys are out of the field.
Talking to Mikhail Aloshin, see him moving around in the cockpit. We saw Ryan Hunter-Reay out.
And I'm afraid that's just too crazy for 100 laps left to go in this race.
Okay, that was Munoz. I saw the 14 up front. The A.J. Foyt cars are very difficult to distinguish. That's Ed Jones.
I feel like that's the first crash Ed Jones has had all year.
No, in Detroit, it was the first time he ever made any wall contact when he just scraped the wall at one point. Carlos Munoz.
We'll get a replay here pretty soon. I see one on the Big Hoss TV is playing, but we'll get you one pretty soon. It looks like after Hinchcliffe got into the tank slapper, he just kind of pinballed off of a couple of cars, and then everybody started spinning.
So the one we haven't mentioned yet, I don't know if we mentioned Ed Carpenter, and I hadn't seen Tristan Vautier either.
All right, here we go. As we see Hinchcliffe come off on the high side here, he comes down on Tony Kanaan here. He's kind of blocking Vautier.
Yeah, but it's his
teammate.
teammate.
Touch right here.
It's his teammate Aloshin who's giving Hinchcliffe nowhere to go.
Oh, Vautier got contact as well.
Aloshin made it 3 wide down the back straightaway, and when Hinchcliffe had to move up, he was pinched. Terrible result for Vautier that was having such a great run. So both Dale Coyne cars, both Schmidt-Peterson cars, both Ed Carpenter cars all go out in that accident.
You watch here. Watch this.
Inside,
so he
one
starts
back,
coming
Mikhail.
down.
Little run
they
here.
touch
In
right
out.
here.
In
and
and
he
out.
got into that tank slapper.
In and out.
We see, as we see that the tank slapper is when you just kind of lose the car, and now you're fighting the car back and forth, trying to correct it left and right, fishtailing, and you're out of control. As we watch from Aloshin's rear view camera here.
On a run.
See the back end of Hinchcliffe's car was snaking back and forth, and you're just out of control. You can never keep up with it, Townsend.
There's 3 lanes here at Texas down the back straightaway. The problem is when Aloshin went wide, went 3 wide, he occupied the 2nd lane. He gave these guys nowhere to go. On board with Carpenter. Now watch this, Aloshin's up there, and Aloshin drops down into the 2nd lane, so
Your mirror's
Hinchcliffe
looking low.
has no room.
Inside. Well, we're going to crash. Slow down.
And that was Hunter-Reay that came from behind him after Ed got turned.
I love it when the spotters state the obvious.
When this happens, there's really no time for these guys that are 20, 30 car lengths back. You're in it when you get there. You're going 225 miles an hour. There's no way to even slow down.
And that was exactly like the Rossi crash earlier, which is you're the sandwich. Hinchcliffe is in the middle of two cars, nowhere to go. The real estate disappears in front of him or beside him, and he just ping-ponged.
And I just started talking about the drivers were reminded third car in should be the first one out. And we saw, I think it was Hinchcliffe had just done that a moment before.
Yeah, I'll maintain that Hinchcliffe would have
Yellow, go low, go low, go low, go low.
Tell you what, Rahal did some good driving there.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Great job.
Real switched on there. He got it rowed down and didn't get in there wide open like a lot of guys.
Look at Vautier with his left hand on his helmet. It was a big impact, but I wonder, is he just thinking, oh my, or what's going on?
Or is he holding the visor down, or?
It was a big, I mean, Vautier had the hardest hit as he just ricocheted off and had a bad angle. Red flag.
A lot of cleanup, so they don't want these guys running through all that debris. There's debris everywhere in turn 3 and 4, all the way down to the apron. So you run through that stuff, you'll cut a tire down immediately. So lots of cleanup to do. There's Carlos Munoz walking. He's okay.
Glad to see everybody get out. Roger Penske talking to Josef Newgarden.
So the incident is under review.
I think a race official just told Roger Penske to get away from the car.
Well, like you said, it's under review, but I think everybody that was in the accident's out. So there's no penalties, Jan, I think they can give out to anybody.
Yes, and when you see all these cars parked on pit road, there is no work that is allowed. A crew member may come with a battery or with some damp towels to put on the bodywork. They can look to assess to see if there's any damage, but no work can be done until they get back to racing.
So we're now down to a field of 11 cars left after starting 22.
Well, last year we had a fantastic finish with just 5 on the lead lap. These 11 are still on the lead lap. Our 5th yellow has produced a red flag condition. Will Power is in front at Texas Motor Speedway. Stay with us for Saturday Night Racing. Dale Coyne Racing, his 2 cars involved in this crash that's produced a red flag just moments ago, and he is not happy. The cars are lined up on pit road. We sit under the red flag, and just moments ago, he went down to have a word with Tony Kanaan.
And I don't think he was saying good luck.
He's obviously very upset. He's had a rough month since Indy. He's wrecked now 3-4 cars, and it's been a really active race tonight with Kanaan. He had an incident with Rossi, and Rossi got pinched here in the middle by Kanaan. Kind of did the same thing, ricocheted off 2 cars and hit the wall. Single car accident. But then we have another angle here from Dixon. Same thing, he just got pinched in the middle, and around he goes. So here we are with Hinch, and now Kanaan is on the bottom here, and Hinch is, Kanaan maybe did come up into his lane. So you're trying to fit 3 cars in 1 lane, and there's just not enough room. So Townsend, I'm wrong. I thought Hinch came down on him, but it really looked like Kanaan moved up, and there was 3 cars trying to occupy 1 lane.
About 10 minutes ago, you said you're never wrong.
Well, no.
I'll
admit when I'm wrong.
Listen, if you're at Texas going down the back straightaway at 220 miles an hour, you're going to fade up a bit to get into turn 3. I'm going to put a little bit of that on Kanaan. I'm also going to put some on Hinch's teammate, Mikhail Aloshin, who was 3 wide up the high side and didn't have to hold down his teammate that tight. When you're 3 wide, it's very difficult for the spotter or any of the drivers to know where the other 2 cars are going to go or what's going to happen. That's how these situations happen.
It all happened in the span of about 0.2 of a second. We see 3 cars occupying 1 lane, and there's just no room for Hinch, and he made contact with Kanaan. He bounced off of his teammate, and we've got about 8 or 9 cars in a huge accident, and you're talking millions of dollars of damage.
Well, if you're Dale Coyne, as you said earlier, Paul, you just can't afford to have this kind of night after all the damage they've had. And good to see J.R. Hildebrand walk out of the medical center. I believe Robin Miller's down there.
Good to see a walking kid, victim of circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, they, I guess Hinch got stuck in the middle there. You know, like a few guys got 3 wide, and like two out of the 3 ended up in the wall. I was right behind Ed Jones, had a big run on him down on the bottom, and he jammed on the brakes before I had a chance to really and we were running that close. I mean, even if we broke at the same time, I got big arrow wash right into the back of him. So yeah, I mean, it sucks because we had a great second stint. You know, ran it up into the top, 6 or 7 or whatever there, and you know, Fuzzy's vodka car was working great. We made some adjustments the second time around. Ended up with a right rear tire that we were having an issue with, so started to lose it, but was still in touch with the leaders. You know, I'm totally confident that we would have hauled it back to the front. So hopefully our boy Ed will fly the flag, and you know, see what we got. But
you all right, wrist-wise?
I'm fine. I was just along for the ride. So.
Okay, thanks, JR. Katie?
Well, we saw Dale Coyne go over to Tony Kanaan and have some words with him, so I want to get Chip Ganassi's view on this. Chip, you've seen the replay, or we can show it to you now. What do you think? Was this Tony's fault?
Well, Katie, you know, first of all, I want to say this is the kind of racing we're trying to avoid. And you had the 5-car out there. That 5-car crashed in the pit lane, was trying to crash all night, and he stuck his nose in that situation right there. Why didn't the 5-car just stay right there? Okay, instead, he gets pushed down to Tony, and everybody knows going into turn 3, there's an undulation to pavement. It's damn hard to keep these cars going straight, and these guys want to take it 3 wide with 100 laps to go. I got no understanding why.
Are you saying anything to Tony right now?
No, he's got the car turned off. We can't talk to him.
All right, we heard Chip's view. Guys, what do you think upstairs?
Well, Chip is defiant in defense of his driver, Tony Kanaan. Tony Kanaan's got one of the fastest cars, Townsend, of the night, so he's still in contention to win regardless.
Well, remember, when you're driving these cars, you don't see the peripheral. You're trusting your spotter. Now, your spotter could be saying outside, outside, and might not have had time to get the 2 outside information. Tony knows if there's only 1 car outside and he fades up, it's fine for Hinchcliffe to make room. He probably didn't know that Hinchcliffe's teammate Aloshin had made it a 3-wide situation and left no room for Hinchcliffe to fade off.
Well, and he wasn't side by side with Kanaan. He only had his back wheel at Tony Kanaan's, his front wheel to Tony Kanaan's back wheel. So Tony Kanaan can't see Hinchcliffe. He's just, like you said, relying on his spotter.
Also, Tony Kanaan's going to follow the draft of the cars in front of him where he has the advantage, and he is ahead at that moment. So I don't think that's anything intentional from Tony Kanaan. I think Hinchcliffe found himself wrong place at the wrong time. I'm going to put that as a racing incident. Unfortunately, a racing incident that took out almost half the field.
Took out half the field, fellas, and Ryan, the bad luck continues, brother. Just an innocent bystander.
Yeah, I don't know what I need to do to get things right here, but had a good car early on. We came in, made a downforce adjustment, and then completely missed the compensation on front wing, and then I went straight to the back. And we spent the rest of the night trying to claw back, just missing the whole downforce front grip equation. But started getting going there, and then this deal happened. There were guys making too many moves out there late into the corner, and I'll save my opinion for it after I look at it. But I came down there, cars spinning everywhere, sparks everywhere. I went for the apron. I kind of high-sided a bit, and then just, a passenger from there. So there was nowhere to go. You can't jump all over the brakes in these cars once, you're doing 220 miles an hour in the corner. There's not a whole lot of places to go.
Fun racing or crazy racing?
I like it when races really come down to handling, not this stuff, like where you have guys that have never seen or driven in pack racing before, and they get out there and they're just making crazy moves. A lot of times I was backing out of places when I had really good runs because I wasn't sure if the guy was going to clear right up into me. It's not the same cast of characters it's always been. So when we all of a sudden have a pack race like this, there's a lot of surprises out there, and it's not the best place to be behind the wheel when these surprises happen. But I was having fun in the beginning, loved it, and then from there, missing the balance, we just we dialed ourselves out. But glad everybody's all right, I guess we learned a lesson from what happened here today. I don't know, pick up, move on. I need to get a race finished here so I can get my season started.
Okay, Marty.
James Hinchcliffe out of the Care Center, and you were very adamant, very upset on the radio. With who?
Tony. It's a shame, man. I mean, he's the most experienced guy in this kind of racing, and unfortunately, Texas isn't what it was. It's gone back to what it used to be, what we got away from. I got to run off a 2 here. If you look now, he's 2.5 car widths to our right, to our left, sorry, and then just drove me straight into McHale. We were 3 wide. Either his spotter didn't tell him we were 3 wide, or he didn't care. which I find hard to believe because Tony doesn't race like that. So it was really surprising to see him keep. I mean, look how far away from me he is, and he just goes right. I don't know if he knows the corner's left. You know, it's such a shame, man. I mean, it turned into way more of a pack race than we've had here in a long time, which unfortunately leads to situations like this. A lot of good cars taken out. Glad everybody's okay, but we had such a good car, man. We got that penalty earlier for the pit lane thing, and I'm gutted for Elio. That was really unfortunate. You know, he came right out in front of me all the way to the fast lane. I tried to go around him and looped it. Rookie mistake and took a good car out. I feel bad for those guys. But then we were racing our way back up to the lead lap. You know, we were side by side with Will for the front of the field, and we were coming back up. You know, I think we got ourselves up to 5th. I mean, the car was awesome. The Aero Electronics car was incredible. That last pit stop from the Schmidt-Peterson Motorsport guys was great. It's just super frustrating in a day that was going so well like that.
Let me get your reaction. Chip Ganassi just said a moment ago that maybe you should have lifted because you were in the middle of 3 wide. What's your thought on that?
I think that's adorable. You know, I wasn't the last guy to the 3 wide. If anybody, if he wants to play that game, Mikhail probably should have lifted, being the last guy to the party. But Tony turned right into a left-hand corner, so it's a shame. We wrecked a lot of good race cars, and he got away with it. I mean, he was involved in the Rossi deal. I didn't see that one totally, but I know he was involved in it. He got away with this one. It's like I said, he doesn't normally race like that. I don't know what happened.
Talk about the racing overall tonight. Is it getting racier as it gets cooler out here? And also the tires have been an issue tonight. How much were you managing that inside the car?
Yeah, I think everybody was having to manage the tires a bit. You know, obviously Firestone came here with only 1 day of testing, brand new surface. There's a lot for them to learn, and they did a great job, I think, bringing something that was safe and going the distance. Like I said, the racing was way different. That second lane of 1 and 2 was definitely coming up. We were using it to good advantage, you know, when we were trying to get our lap back there. But again, it's just a totally different kind of race. I mean, Will was driving around on the white line, which we haven't seen here in Texas since 2011. So everybody was learning a bit. A lot of the guys in the field don't have a lot of experience with that kind of racing. They weren't around back in, you know, the old car days when we raced like that, and it showed today. It's unfortunate. It's not the kind of racing we want to be doing. I mean, it looks exciting, but unfortunately it leads to stuff like that.
We got some very honest comments from James Hinchcliffe. Katie?
Well, when Ed Carpenter left the medical center, he immediately went over to Tony Kanaan. Ed, what did you say to him?
No, I didn't go talk to Tony. I just came to the pits. You know, really, for as big of a crash as it was, our car wasn't that bad. So the guys are back looking at it, seeing if we can get it back together. There's 4 cars in front of us that are crashed out, so maybe pick up a few points. But just disappointing. You know, we had it was a wild night for us. We got to the front and then kind of got shuffled back, and then ultimately got caught up in this one. But see if we can get back out there and pick up a few points. But yeah, I mean, the replay I saw, you know, I think that was Tony's fault. You can see the dotted lines. He's just driving up the track. He wasn't. We talk about lane integrity and giving each other space, and you know, I have as much respect for Tony as anyone in this series. We've been racing together a long time, but you know, the replay I saw, you know, I know he wouldn't like if he was raced that way, so he'll probably think different when he sees the replay.
Robin, it'll be interesting to see if Ed can get that 20 car back out.
Okay, the most exciting driver of the night, Tristan Vautier. Hell of a race for Dale Coyne. He went down and gave Tony Kanaan a piece of his mind after the crash. What was your perspective, kid?
There was nothing I could do. Honestly, they tangled in front. And, you know, Inch started speeding and I had nowhere to go. Just a bummer because obviously, I mean, we were very fast. We could have fought for the win, but more than anything, I wanted to finish the race for my return, and I think I raced this way all night. I raced hard, but I really had the checkered flag in mind, and I wanted to have a solid finish. So I'm kind of pissed off. You know, I really wanted to see the end of the race, but I think we can be proud. You know, we represented Seb pretty well, who is recovering. Get well soon, Seb. We really did our best. I think, yeah, we showed a lot for this race, but I'm just, yeah, I'm a bit sad it ended this way.
The guys in the booth were saying this is a great audition to keep this ride the rest of the season. If you can, what's your sports car commitments? Can you run some more here for Dale?
Well, you know, Kenny, my team owner from Sun Energy One Racing, is just such a great person. He supports me way beyond my commitment racing full-time for him in USA. So I don't know, he just wants to see me succeed and always pushes for my career. So I think, you know, if I got the shot, he will help me out and free me up for the races that conflict. But I don't know, I think the team might be set with the replacement. At least I showed, you know, everything I could tonight. I gave it all. I raced really hard, and I'm happy we maximized everything. It's just a shame taken out by something out of our control, and the team really did not need another crash because of all the crash damage they've had, but I tried my best to avoid that and race well. It's just, you know, sometimes you can't do anything about it. So.
Well, you did a hell of a job. Booth?
All right, thank you, Robin. And the Kenny he referred to as Kenny Habul, and his company Sun Energy, and maybe it's Esteban Gutierrez we see as we watch James Hinchcliffe on board with his massive hit. 8 cars involved, red flag, but back to racing soon at Texas.
Back at Texas Motor Speedway, still under the red flag for an 8-car incident here, including Mikhail Aloshin, who said earlier on he might have the best car in the entire field out of the infield care center. Now, Mikhail, you were on the outside of 3 wide there. Any thought of maybe lifting and getting out of that before it even happened?
Well, the thing is, I was much faster than the guys that drove in the lower line, and you know, I thought that we're gonna all stay together up there, but then I think that James touched with Kanan. I don't know the reason for that, and then basically we all crashed. Because I think we would make it in 3 lines up there. So because I knew that James is there, Kanan is there, and you know, I didn't understood what was going on, because I gave space to them, but I think that something was going on between James and Kanan. And in the end, you know, what we have is 2 great cars that ended up in a wall, and you know, that's just dumb and stupid, and I'm very disappointed just regarding, you know, which shape of the team we had this weekend, and we could be in the top today, and we just lost this opportunity because of some idiots up here.
I want to ask you about your fire suit. It's actually torn. What happened there?
Well, it's just a little bruise up there, but that's fine. I'm going to be fine for next weekend in Le Mans.
He's going to Le Mans next weekend, but as he mentioned, his Smith-Peterson car is awfully fast. Felt like he had a chance to win, Robin.
Marty, rookies aren't supposed to be really smart on ovals. They're learning all night, but Ed Jones said he was really comfortable, and get this, he's on the brakes when this crash is going on, and then what happened?
Yeah, I got hit from the rear. That spun the car around and put me in the wall backwards as well. So, you know, nothing I could really do about it. I tried to avoid the incident, and I got caught up.
Was this fun tonight? You said yesterday you kind of enjoyed this oval.
I had a lot of fun. For me, this is like the most comfortable I've ever been on an oval from the get-go. You know, it's a new track for me yesterday. And yeah, I just had so much fun racing out there tonight. A lot of the guys were really respectful to run side by side, but there was a certain few which didn't really respect the others, and that's what caused that incident.
That's when you were comfortable here and have a good time, you can tell that you're young and brave. This reminds me of sprint car drivers, which you were last year.
Yeah, I did a bit of sprint car driving, and I think I got to get back to that. Maybe that'll help me a bit more on that high line.
Did you, what about cars? I mean, the next race, a couple weeks in Elkhart Lake, you guys had so much crash damage. You guys think you got enough spares?
Yeah, well, I have to go see the team about that. Yeah, it's a big hit for Dale. Dale's putting so much effort into this team, and the car's been so strong everywhere. And to have this damage, yeah, it's painful. But you know, this team has been knocked back so many times in the past, and they come back stronger every time. So I'm sure we're going to be back and even better.
All right, we're glad Ed Jones as well, Kevin.
Thanks.
Yes, he has been impressive. He was strong again tonight, and what a month plus it's been for Dale Coyne Racing.
Listen, we got 94 laps still to go, Townsend. I've heard all these opinions of whose fault, whose guy's fault. And at some point, somebody's got to lift out. And if I look back to last year, we talked about Simon Pagenaud with 3 or 4 laps to go was in a 3-4 wide situation like that, and he pedaled out of it, and that was a championship move.
Well, because he was leading the points. So right now, a lot of criticism of Tony Kanaan. I can promise you he's tuned all that out. He doesn't care. He's here to win tonight.
That's right.
And he's got a chance to win for the first time in almost 3 years. The cleanup is just about done. We should go back to racing very soon as we ride along with Mikhail Aloshin.
Hold on.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where we are still under red flag conditions. You can see the number 14 of Carlos Munoz undergoing some work right now. He was involved in that accident, but is out and okay. Carlos, you were slicing your way through that field, having one heck of a race before that crash.
Yeah, you know, we're always in the top 10. You're staying with the leading group. We just need a little bit more speed, you know, in the restarts. But man, what we can say, you know, after starting last because we missed the tech yesterday, I just wanted to put, you know, a good race for my mechanics to get up because they feel so sorry for me yesterday. I just wanted to do a good race, and you know, I think it's the most competitive car we had this season. You know, we just keeping running with the front guys with the lead pack the whole time, and nothing I could do in the crash. You know, when you have a multiple car crash, there's nothing you can do. It's weird that things happen in the front group, and normally it tends to happen in the back, but this time it was in the front. It's a shame, you know. I think it's only 11 cars now. I think it was a great show for the fans. We're having a blast in the car. So, you know, we have to keep working that way we're working, and let's see a safe race now and a nice race.
Kevin, we've now checked in with everybody, and they are all okay. Good to see them all out. Sounds like we're going to go yellow here soon.
Yes, no doubt. Great to see that everyone's okay. The work already getting started to repair those cars. And we have a chance now, Paul, to check in with someone that's still in the race.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Graham Rahal. Let me radio in. Hey, Graham, can you hear me? It's we're up in the booth up here. Hey, Graham, it looks like your car has not been either not handling so great yet. You haven't really been to the front, or are you just biding your time? There's been a lot of wild, crazy racing up front. Are you just waiting, biding your time for the end like last year, or you got a good car to win?
Well, I mean, I think we've had a good car. Track position's been tough for us. The time passes and stuff. I haven't done the best of job so far, so you know, we just got to get by some of these guys. I think the car is actually pretty consistent. It's been taking care of the tires well, but like you said, man, there's been a lot of super aggressive driving tonight. Normally that's me doing it, but tonight it's been kind of interesting to sit back and watch a little bit.
Well, the crazy part is talking to guys this morning, you know, during the day, they said, it's not going to be much of a race. It's going to be one line. You're not going to be able to pass it. It's been like gangbusters ever since the green. Guys are too wide. And how's your car blistering-wise? We saw some cars with a lot of big blisters. Have you had any trouble with that?
I mean, the second stint, we had some pretty good ones on the right-hand side, but other than that, actually the last stint, the right rear looked good. So, you know, we seem to be pretty consistent. We seem to be taking care of our tires pretty good. You know, I'd like to see a long run to the finish, but we'll see what they do here. Obviously, you want to keep everything together and have no more issues. But yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. You know, there's a lot more too wide racing and stuff than I expected, and I see only more of that to come as this race goes on.
Well, good luck. You're going to restart. We're hoping to see an exciting finish out of you and try to bring it home 3 in a row.
We're going to do our best, man. You know that.
Let's speak on the blistering that we've talked about and explain why that's happening because of the circumstances with a brand new track this year.
Well, I don't know if I could give you the technical reason for why that's happening. Obviously, the surface is getting hot. Firestone trying to make the adjustments with an unknown here, with a redesigned Texas and a redesigned surface. But I can tell you as a driver, that is not very, not very confidence-inspiring if late in the stint that happens. So anything they can do, if they can change pressures, perhaps, maybe they can't make a camber adjustment under the red flag here. But it sounds like, you know, Graham was just something they're going to deal with and have to force their way through.
Well, and I think that blistering will get better as the night goes on, as the track rubbers in, and as the groove comes in, you're going to get more rubber down, and that tire wear is going to become better. So we'll see. It's a lot cooler now than the start of the race, Kevin.
Now, that wasn't involved in this last incident that caused the red flag, but here is a change as we move forward. It has just been decided by IndyCar officials and Firestone that there will be a mandatory competition pit stop with a required 4-tire change after 30 green flag laps. So if we go green for 30 in a stint, there will be a mandatory competition pit stop with 4 tires changed.
Well, they last pitted on lap 140. The red came out on 154. So with a yellow, then would that mean that you're only allowed 30 green laps total, even with the yellow, which means they'd have to start pitting in 16 laps or so?
Well, there was also a lot of debris when they brought the cars back down to pit lane. They had to run through all of that crash damage that was all over turns 3 and 4 in the apron. So probably just the series erring on the side of caution. Mandatory stop, but everybody put new tires on.
Yeah, but what they're saying, Paul, is they're not going to allow more than 30 green laps.
Correct, and it will be a competition caution.
Competition caution.
Yes,
okay,
so that's what I wanted to clarify, and that's what I'm being told, that it will be a competition caution. Jan?
Kyle Moyer is on the radio to Simon Pagenaud. The team is setting up for a pit stop. We're trying to get a quick word in. You just had the word from race control about these cautions now to protect the tires. How does that change your strategy?
Keep doing what we're doing, run as hard as we can. The car's beautiful and everything, and it's hanging up front, so we'll just do the best we can with what the strategy is. I guess this is what they call IndyCar stage racing, but you know, it's part of it, and we'll get through it. You know, him and Will and everybody's doing really good, and we'll try to stay up front.
All right, thank you. And of course, as you both mentioned, Townsend and Paul, it's Simon Pagenaud that's been watching this race and hanging back, and that may be the order of the evening.
Well, this is going to, depending on when that last yellow falls, it's definitely going to make for some crazy restarts coming down to the end of the race. Guys on fresh tires, track cooling. Townsend, last year when we had that late restart, everybody went crazy. So there's been no shortage of aggressive driving tonight right from the green flag. So expect a lot more of it.
And by the way, for this mandatory competition caution for 4 tire changes, the teams have all been alerted as well through the instant messaging system that IndyCar uses to communicate with the teams. Now, we're going to see everyone likely take their pit stop. So Max Chilton, as mentioned earlier, running second, who stayed out to move from 16th to the lead a moment ago, is going to catch the break, and if he has a good pit stop, he can stay up front.
But here's what's interesting. If Chilton pits now, then he won't have to pit on the mandatory yellow, because they have about 10 laps on the tires before the last yellow came out. So how does that play out?
I think they're going to start that countdown clock. It's going to start when we go green. Well, and everyone's going to pit here.
With 92 to go and mandatory 30-lap stops, if it's under green, that's going to make a stop with 10 to go, and you're going to have a 10-lap shootout, and it will be nuts.
So we're told mandatory pit stop right now.
And you need to stop here because
you're
wondering who's run through debris and everything else involved.
Yeah, and frankly, there's only 11 cars left, so all you got to do is stay on the lead lap.
And Kevin, I believe in your statement it did say 30 laps of green.
Correct.
So remember, this can all shift with yellow.
Yeah, so if we don't have a 30-lap green stint, then that's all out the window. So Will Power is going to lead them down to pit road, and Max Chilton is right behind him, Katie.
Well, Kevin, the 8 team's decision not to pit earlier under that yellow could change the entire course of Max Chilton's race. As you see him pull there into his pit box, just going to fill it up with Sunoco fuel and 4 fresh tires. Jan?
Simon Pagenaud just taking on sticker tires for him. Again, you would put the sticker tires on in a short stint. Marty?
Sticker tires also for teammate Will Power, who, because of all the wrecks, has a bunch of clear stalls. You see him going through all those stalls, leaving pit road, easily wins the race off of pit road for fresh Firestone tires and Sunoco fuel for this next 30-lap run.
Looks like some issues down there on pit lane with, is that Marco Andretti?
Wing change from Marco. He's been having handling issues all night, so it looks like they might be making a downforce change or something.
Why wouldn't you? If you're only going to run 30 laps in a stint, this could be a great decision. Trim this bad boy out, knowing that you've only got to go 30 laps and give yourself a bullet on every start restart.
Well, you can see that wing is tilted back, so it looks like a
qualifying
low
wing.
downforce wing.
Dave, hold on.
That's Brian Hurd on the radio, a master of strategy.
Yes, and they put this wing on, and they told Marco this wing is non-adjustable. So what we give you, that is what you have. Now, I'm not certain there wasn't damage on the prior wing. So yes, this is trimmed out, but it may have been led to by damage.
Wonder if you could get to Brian Herta, Jan, and find out if that's like a qualifying special they put on, or if it was damage related.
He really hasn't been a factor all night, so they got to try something to get him up towards the front. And there's a lot less. Ooh, he lost a lap.
That's a disaster.
Well, I'm willing to guarantee there's going to be another yellow for him to get his lap back.
We've been told that it'll absolutely happen, so he just has to try to get to the front.
But he'll have to pit with everyone and won't have the opportunity to get the lap back, right?
Yeah, good point.
Watch Ed Carpenter, who is trying to repair his car, Robin.
Well, I was just talking to him about how crazy everybody's driving, and he wished the chief stewards would make some calls about guys changing lanes, and they said, hey, get in the car. They just rebuilt the right front, and he's going back out because he just looked at the leaderboard and said, there's 11 cars there. This could be a decent finish.
Here we go, winding up again at Texas Motor Speedway. The red flag was just over 30 minutes.
Green.
Back to green, racing at Texas.
Marco now running in effectively second place, but he's a lap down. So what he needs to do is just hang there and wait for the yellow to get his lap back. Do not get sucked up and towards the back of the pack. But now, as we see Simon Pagenaud sweep around the outside, he wants to get back in line with his teammate. Look at all that debris and dust there in turn 4 from the crash.
Now, meanwhile, watch for Tony Kanaan. He has been penalized. He will have to serve it here. It is going to be a stop and hold penalty for Tony Kanaan.
And that'll effectively end the race for Tony Kanaan. He'll go 2 laps down. Doesn't say how long he has to hold for, but he'll lose a lap and a half just on a pit stop while the rest of the field is green.
Well, we don't know how long the hold is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be 20 seconds. We've just heard 20 seconds. So that's basically he's going to lose 2 to 3 laps.
And it's not just for avoidable contact, also for blocking. So a 20-second stop and hold is coming for Kanaan. You see him signal that he's going to pit by dipping below the white line, and he will come in, and his chance to win is effectively over.
Right now, if you're Scott Dixon in that blue car on the right screen, you have to be thinking about, let me just practice what it's going to take at the end of the race. You don't have to worry about making positions right now if you know this mandatory caution is now going to come out. So I think Scott Dixon is just practicing what it could be like if there's 10 to go, 20 to go, and he's in a contention for the win. So 11 cars left in the field. Don't take any big risks. Protect the equipment. You can see Tony Kanaan shaking his head. Obviously doesn't agree with the call.
I wouldn't say he's completely out of it because we're going to have 3 mandatory stops, right? Yellows. If he gets his lap back on each one, he's back on the other lap.
He won't. It'll be mandatory pit stop, I think, for everybody.
Okay.
It'll be a competition yellow.
So this has the energy and the feel like we're coming to the end as we see the sparks fly with Newgarden almost getting down there on the grass. But we've still got a long way to go as Newgarden goes side by side with Dixon for 3rd.
Tony Kanaan coming out of the pit lane at the end of the field. He'll be 2 laps down now.
This looks like the last 5 laps of the race.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. But we have a long way to go here.
I'm telling you what, these guys are racing like it's a full moon out because it is a full moon out.
Josef Newgarden to the high side of Scott Dixon. He'll pick up the position. Josef Newgarden picking up where Tristan Vautier left off.
Remember, he served a pit speed penalty earlier, was a lap down. Had to pit off sequence, back on sequence now, 1 of 12 still in the race, and that includes Ed Carpenter, who is back out 12 laps down.
Love this view. On board with Graham Rahal, the helmet cam, 219 mile an hour average lap. Loses a position to Sato. Look at Sato, boys. Oh, boy!
And he hung on to it.
What is Chavez doing? He just hit me.
That was Gabby Chavez coming through in the 88 for Harding Racing.
I don't know if Graham had any idea somebody was coming through. I'm not sure Chavez hit Graham as much as Graham tried to turn in and to grab the toe and didn't realize Chavez was there.
And he had nothing from his spotter either. I think it all happened so quick. Chavez was in the draft behind Sato, just following in line, and
Graham just had no idea anybody was inside. We were listening to the radio. I think we would have heard it. Wonder if the spotter has an issue.
So that incident is also under review. The
You're
stewards
looking at your contact with Chavez now.
There you go. They've been very busy tonight. That's Rico Nault talking to Graham Rahal.
I don't put that on Chavez at all, Paul.
But guys, this has been going on all night long with Graham Rahal. He's been very upset with the 88. This is about the 4th time he's had something to say about him. But that was cool that we were riding on board. Even saw him hit the button to tell the guys on the radio that he was not happy with him. But this is not the first
They're
time.
going to make the 88 give up the position for blocking. They're going to tell the 88 to get out of your way.
And there you go. There's the ruling from race control. 88 has to give up that spot, so Graham Rahal will go back to 6, guys.
Oh, that's an easy thing to do. He'll just lift off right there, file back in behind. So that's better than a drive-through penalty.
I don't agree with the penalty. It's not a huge penalty, as you said, Paul, but I don't know how you call that block. And Chavez was running through and running past Graham Rahal.
The other point is, how remarkable is it that we saw that contact at 220 miles per hour and they're still going?
Yeah, well, lucky that the damage wasn't worse.
Look at Sato now, who's up to 5th place after that damage at the beginning of the race. He's steadily moved his way through. We haven't talked about him all night. So the Indy 500 winner is working his way back through the pack in that Andretti car, and look for this guy to make have a chance of winning tonight.
Penske runs 1, 2, 3 with Power Pagenaud. Now Dixon making a move on Newgarden.
Josef Newgarden was just told on the radio, try to get in line with those guys. You can see he just lost that spot. Keep in mind, out of the Penske cars, Josef Newgarden is the one that has had the most problems with the right front blistering. Now he goes to the high side again. They are trying to get these three Penske cars together. He can't quite hold on to it. In the back of the screen, you see Andretti. You asked about that wing. That's not a qualifying special. It's a replacement for the one that was damaged. Same downforce level.
Marco Andretti has had an eventful night. His car was off pace early. He had fallen all the way back to last in the race at 21st on lap 32 and worked his way back up into the top 10. And now he's still in the mix. Now, meanwhile, the restart was on 158, so 188 is when that competition caution will come.
Paul, if I'm Josef Newgarden's pit right now, I'd be saying, hey, tuck in, because when you run the high line like that, you're demanding more out of the right front. It's already had issues earlier in the race. The rubber is down low. I think Josef Newgarden needs to be careful he doesn't just force the issue again.
Well, these two Penske guys up front, Pagenaud and Will Power, are just all night so far have been content to just ride there and protect their position. And the racing, the really wild racing, has been 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, as we see Newgarden now side by side with Dixon trying to get that 3rd place away so he can tuck in with his teammates.
Right behind them, there's Takuma Sato in the blue and white car, the Indianapolis 500 winner. Then it's Rahal and Chavez behind them. All right, let's go through the field and catch you up on the stories, and we start with Marty Snyder.
Kevin, there's 11 cars in the field now, 12, but it's awfully racy here at Texas. Will Power leading out front, been the dominant car all evening long. They have not made one adjustment on that 12 car today, chassis-wise, and it's a home race for his wife, Liz. She's from Plano, Texas, about 45 miles east. They had a family reunion on Thursday. He'd love to win for the family today. Jan.
And teammate Simon Pagenaud right behind. Again, he has been instructed, and he likes the idea of tonight just following right behind his teammate. And you can see that Scott Dixon is kind of mixing up right now this Penske party. Pagenaud happy right behind Scott Dixon as he's getting pressure from behind from Josef Newgarden. The biggest concern for Dixon at the moment, he cannot see his pit board. They've now put a strobe light to help him. Behind for Newgarden, we've talked about the fact that he is the one of the Penske drivers that's had the most trouble with blistering. So if he's running higher, that should protect the right front tire a little bit more. Marty?
And Jan, the Indy 500 winner, Takuma Sato, back there in 5th, getting a little racy. This is the same chassis he won the Indy 500 in, and he certainly would love to get it back to victory lane here at Texas this evening. Very reminiscent of his Indianapolis run. Very quiet all day long, but all of a sudden, here at the end, there he is with a shot to win it. Katie?
And how about this run for Gabby Chavez in 6th, coming off his 9th place Indianapolis 500 finish. Remember, this team is building itself completely from the ground up. When I talked to Gabby earlier today, he said it's been difficult because nobody on the team has ever worked with a Chevy Aero kit, but they're proving themselves today. Marty?
Graham Rahal back in 7th. He gave up that position to Chavez just a moment ago, so he did fall back one more spot as we ride on board with Graham right now. He told us a moment ago, I haven't been aggressive enough and timed my passes correct. We'll see if he can do it in the second half of this race here, Katie, trying to get his 3rd straight win in 2016 and his 2nd straight here at Texas.
Well, Marty, we saw before that red flag how choosing not to pit could have changed the entire course of Max Chilton's race. When I talked to him about this race today at Texas Motor Speedway, he said he can take a lot from Indianapolis that he learned. For example, he really learned how to defend that inside line as you see him trying to go for a pass on his teammate there, Jan.
And Connor Daly is trying to close that gap to back up, but the gap is large for Connor Daly. He said he needs to trim, because you can see if he can't trim, he needs to stay in a group. That's how he's gained all his positions tonight, is staying in the groove in the draft, and he doesn't have it right now.
9 on the lead lap. That's Connor Daly in 9th. That's through the field. Great work brought to you by Rainguard Water Sealers. And this is the Rainguard Water Sealers 600 at Texas Motor Speedway. It has been a wild one tonight. And right now, it's Team Penske out in front. Chevy with Will Power and Simon Pagenaud. Then the Honda of Ganassi, Scott Dixon. Another Chevy with Josef Newgarden. And then Takuma Sato as we watch this battle continue for 3rd.
Newgarden had a big run on Dixon. He was pretty much clear of him, Townsend. He could have slammed the door on him and closed him off, but he decided to give him room, and Dixon came back around.
I don't think Newgarden wants to run low. He had a chance, as you said, Paul, to take the inside line, but he just seems to like it up high. Now he runs low back there in traffic behind Dixon. So Newgarden pretty much the most liberal in exploring the high line, but again, it puts the demand on the tires, and there he goes again. Now remember, we're going to pit in what, 3 laps? 3 laps till that competition yellow, so maybe Newgarden's really not concerned anymore about the blister.
And great to see Clint Boyer is watching. Hello, Clint. I watched some of your broadcast today at the Xfinity race. You guys did a great job. I enjoy Clint Boyer. He has great personality. I love watching him. Today, the NASCAR broadcast had all active drivers calling the Xfinity race.
So you watch your tone.
Why? I wanted them to do well, just not too well.
Watch out, us drivers are trying to take your job.
Oh boy, look at Marco Andretti back there desperately working to try to get his lap back. He seems to be getting better. Unfortunately, that competition yellow is about to hit. 1 lap to go, I think.
And Newgarden has finally cleared Scott Dixon, so we got now Penske 1, 2, 3 with 3 to go before the competition yellow. And it can't come soon enough for Connor Daly because he's about to go a lap down right up there in front. So he fell off the draft and they're already coming around to lap him.
I think Will Power is pretty smart in this race, guys. We haven't talked much about our leader. All the chaos is behind you. Yep. Stay out front and enjoy it, and that's a smart place to be. Will Power is fast and loves that good view.
That's Ed Carpenter up in front, not Connor Daly.
And Ed is many laps down, 14 down after they made repairs. But as he mentioned, he was able to pick up several positions for owner points and is in line to finish 12th right now. That's Team Penske and what they've been able to do. Power was the best qualifier for the team, the best for Chevy. 9th, they have raced so much better. They are 1, 2, 3 right now.
Well, first car to peel off before the competition yellow is Josef Newgarden, and I do not understand this strategy at all.
Has to be a vibration. And there's the, that's terrible.
He got the yellow before he got to the line.
The reason that he's in pit lane is because they have had blistering before other cars, and for safety purposes, and I can see that he does have blisters on the right front, not to the same degree that he has before, but for safety concerns, they want to be sure that Josef Newgarden at 6.5 seconds does not run into problems.
The yellow came out, Jan, before he got to the line, so I think he might have got screwed on this deal.
No, the pit commit line is on the back straightaway, so he should be okay. Once you're past the pit commit line on the back straight.
He pulled out onto the front straightaway.
That's because he didn't want to be sitting in pit lane.
I think they may have pulled a fast one, because if you can get into pit lane and beat the pit commit lane, and then the yellow comes out, that actually will work in your favor. He stays on the track now while everyone else peels off.
That's a great point.
They knew when the yellow was coming. When do you ever know when a yellow is coming? Yeah. Until today. So very clever strategy. If he got there before the yellow, he is clear to pit.
It's a great point, Jan.
I'm going to guess there's going to be some arguing about this.
Well, in the end, you know, it's not going to matter that much in that you're going to have 20 laps to go on the final stop, right? We're at 190, so they'll restart, say, around 195. That'll get us to 225. Maybe what they'll do is go yellow for I don't know, they wouldn't go yellow for 30 laps. So there's going to be a restart.
Hey, he's just been told by IndyCar officials, there's a big argument going on right now, saying you have to come in, this is Josef Newgarden, and pit again and take service. Their response was, hey, no one told us it was going to go yellow. We were free to do that. So there's a disagreement, but IndyCar right now is saying, no, no, no. You knew a yellow was coming, you tried to take advantage, and we're putting you back.
Here would be my understanding of that. It said mandatory pit stop. So if you choose to come in before that, you're doing that on your own. But when everyone else comes in, in my understanding, that rule would be that you have to come in again.
Well, this says mandatory pit stop with required 4-tire change with a max of 30 green flag laps. Point is, he has to come in. That's the ruling from race control. Hey, you got to admire, they're trying to get clever. It's not going to really hurt them that much. They're going to be on the lead lap. There's 11 cars in this race. So what's the big deal? You're going to have to race your way to the front, and it shouldn't be that hard if you have a good car.
I tell you what, you guys lost me at hello on this whole thing.
So we're going to come again. We're going to do tires.
This whole change.
They never told us they were going to go yellow. Never told us we had to pit under yellow. Don't worry, it's all good.
This whole change-up of everything, I think they should have just let guys manage their own tires. If you felt blisters, come in. If you didn't have blisters, stay out. So I think a lot of it has to do with setup, because the only ones that are having the worst blisters are the Penske guys.
Well, but I think Newgarden's running that high line, and that's going to put way more demand on the right front. But we're going to pit stops now.
And let's go to Jan.
Well, this may be mandatory, but it's still a shootout. You do not have to maintain position. So we watch Pagenaud, we watch Dixon to see this service. It should not take as long as usual because the fuel will flow faster. Marty?
Will Power talked about trying to get into his pit stall better this time. The race off pit road going to be very close between Power and Scott Dixon. Power does win that race, I believe, off pit road. They made no changes to that 9 car, and no, Scott Dixon beats out Will Power barely. How about that, Kevin?
That was close. I actually could not tell who had the advantage, but timing and scoring is showing Scott Dixon picked up 2 spots to go to the front.
Well, let's watch it again. Will Power urgent to keep that clean view at the front and stay out of the chaos, but it was not that close in the end. Scott Dixon first with the transponder across the line.
About like our finish last year, 30 inches or so.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this will put Marco back on the lead lap because his car actually looked pretty racy. He was hanging around in there in the top 4 or 5 guys. So,
well, the question is, how many laps of yellow does IndyCar force here? Because if they're 192, you're going to have 30 laps. Say if they restart at 195, that takes you to 225 for the last pit stop. So we're going to see the exact same thing. We're going to see a fresh tire shootout to end this race. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's going to be awesome.
So one more pit stop is coming and another restart from Texas Motor Speedway with Scott Dixon in front.
And they're about to go back to green, but Tim Cindric said we could get a quick word in. What was the issue there? It looked like you pulled some clever strategy, but then IndyCar said, no, you can't do that. Why?
Well, they never told us, number one, that they were going to go caution. They told us that we're going to run 30 laps maximum on tires, 30 laps of green. So we figured that we could come in that lap. We had no idea they were going to throw a caution for it. They never told us on IM. They never told our spotters. They never told me. They never told anybody that they were going to throw a caution, at least in our pit, with 30 to go. We just knew that we needed 30 laps max.
Very interesting.
And to Tim's point, remember I was asking the question about the yellow because the exact wording did not include the word yellow. So
well, I'll tell you what, guys,
that's coming from.
It really doesn't matter because they all know now, and they're all going to have one more stop with fresh tires to the end. So right now, this is about how do you practice that final restart that's coming. Save your equipment, be smart, learn what you can.
52 to go, winding up one
go,
more
go,
time.
Go, go,
Dixon,
go, green,
Power,
green, green.
Pagenaud, Sato, green again at Texas Motor Speedway.
Takuma Sato's looking awfully racy there in 4th place, having a look down the inside, but here comes Graham Rahal to the high side.
Graham Rahal finally having a sniff at the front. He's been running, biding his time. He says he's got a pretty good car. He just needs to make better timing passes, time it up better. So he backs off a little bit there, but he's going to get swarmed here by Joe Newgarden, who's now working his way back from that penalty.
But Will Power went back to the front around the outside on Scott Dixon. There's Newgarden making his way back to the front. He's using the high line.
He's been the highest of anybody running. He's got blistering problems, so he's trying to open up that corner and not use the tire as hard, but it hasn't helped.
Will Power has led 137 laps. He's back in front now, and they're side by side for second with Pagenaud in the white and black car, number 1 on the outside.
Hondas were so strong in qualifying. They were 1 through 8. They had the speed. Looked like they had Chevy covered. But the Penske guys have found something with their setup and race trim, and they have steadily worked their way to the front.
And PT Will Power did not want to sit in second very long. In fact, they know their teammate Simon Pagenaud trimmed out a little as Dixon wants the lead back, getting a little dicey for that lead, but he did not trim out. He said, we don't need to trim our car out, speaking of Will Power, because we'll be out front. He didn't count on losing the lead on pit road, so he desperately wants to keep on a hold of that lead because of where they are downforce-wise.
In line with you outside,
really
middle green.
These guys are racing like it's the last. That's a little bit too high on that line, Joe.
Josef Newgarden, 3 wide and 3 and 4. I'm not sure you needed to do that then.
Long way to go still. Long way to go. We still got 47 laps to go, so.
He liked it high in the 2nd lane, Paul. He thought he'd love it in the 3rd lane. Wow.
That's really going to be a blow for his championship. He went out at Indy, which was a double points race. Had a good run at Detroit on the 2nd race, but there's been a little bit too many falling out of races now. He's going to be pretty far behind in the points now.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Full moon, Texas, it has a way of sucking you in and begging you to go for it, and I just don't think that was needed at this point. Look at how high up the track he is, and there was dirt coming off the tires. Nobody had been running up there yet.
Well, and there's track debris everywhere, oil dry from the, you see him wiggling right through that oil dry, and it got away, and he was chasing it up the track rodeo style and sprint car style, and just ran out of real estate in the end.
Well, Rahal almost got into him from behind. Gabby Chavez had to avoid him. Our 6th caution of the night, plus the competition caution.
Big second hit too. The car came up off the ground, so 2 pretty good hits.
So we were scheduled to have that competition caution at lap 224. Now the clock will start over, so depending on when they go back to green and how long the cleanup is, we either may not have it. If we restart later than 2:18, that seems very unlikely. Well, we're probably going to have a stop for tires with about 10 to go, as you talked as possible.
If it was 224, that means you have 24 laps of caution, meaning every lap of caution we have now, you subtract from 24, and that's how many laps you're going to have on the restart.
Townsend, he went through that speedy dry, all that oil dry, and as soon as he crossed across that, the rear end came out from under him. If we can get another replay of that, he had a big run and went 3 wide, and as soon as he crossed through all that oil dry, the back end just slid out from underneath of him.
But Paul, I don't think he would have made it regardless. It was so dirty. Nobody had been running 3 wide down there. Let's watch this is late after the impact. There was dust flying off, rooster tail coming off the back of that car just from a green track as well.
Watch Graham Rahal here. See that big pile of speedy dry right there, and as soon as he crossed over that, Townsend, it just went sideways on him.
Fair point. That initiated it, and then there's not much grip to recover.
You see right here. Look at all the speedy dry here, right there. Boom. It's sideways as soon as he hit that. So they haven't done a very good job of cleaning that up. I guess they figured nobody's going to go up there, but somebody tried it.
Okay, to clarify on the competition caution, so it's, as you said, Townsend, 30 green flag laps, so they're just going to add to it through this, so they don't have to be consecutive. It does not start over, so we had however many green flag laps, and then once it adds up to 30, it'll be beyond 224 when we take that next competition caution.
And having a quick update. So
go ahead, Jan.
So there it, Mike is back. I just wanted to say that there is now clarification. I have seen the instant message that did go out to the teams that, in fact, even though in that verbiage that you read, the printed copy, there was an IM message that went out to the team saying we will call a caution for that mandatory stop.
Okay, well, interesting. Now, every lap of yellow, guys, remember this, that means that last restart becomes less and less green flag running. So if I'm an engineer, I'm going to start thinking about how much downforce do I want to tear out of that thing on the last pit stop with only 11 cars in this race. I'm going to try to give myself, I only need tires for maybe 15 laps now on that last restart. So if I trim out, go super low downforce, that might be the way to go.
So help me, when you're taking out downforce, how does that impact being able to go around the high side of someone?
Well, maybe Ryan Briscoe could chime in. He's watching our IndyCar race on the NBC Sports app. He's about to take off for Paris. Ryan, I'll see you. I'm taking off for Paris tomorrow. We'll see you in Le Mans. Bummed he's going to miss the finish of this thing. It's going to be wild. But sorry, what was your question, Ken, on the...
When you trim out and take off downforce, does that make it harder to go around somebody on the high side? Is there any disadvantage to the pack type of racing that you're going to see at the end?
It does, but they will have fresh tires. My point is they won't have to go very long on the fresh tires.
On board again, the helmet cam from Graham Rahal. Let's listen to some of his communication.
Santos' car is a cannon off the corner. That thing accelerates like nothing I've ever seen. Unbelievable. Well, okay. I mean, Santo is fast.
Well, it's a cannon, but we don't know what the downforce comparison. To the point we just had, Sato might already be more trimmed out than Graham Rahal, so maybe Graham's guys start thinking about making a change.
Remember, he's pretty good at predicting things at this race. Before last year's race, he said, I've got a rocket ship, and I'm going to the front, and he did. So we'll watch Takuma Sato, who is in 4th position right there in that blue and white car for Andretti, the number 26.
Paul, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody even stops here and starts to experiment with tearing off one of those rear wheel pod winglets and just starting to trim out now to practice.
See another look at that accident. Josef Newgarden went 3 wide. He was going for it for the lead. probably a little bit too early and a little bit too brave for that move with 50 laps to go. He got through that oil dry and lost the rear of the car, and that car is heavily damaged.
Pits are open, but it's not mandatory. I still think, why not experiment? You know another yellow's coming, so you can take a chance, try something. If it works, great, stick with it. If not, put it back on the last mandatory stop.
And now we're being told that that number does not change, even with the yellow reducing the number of green flag laps. It will be 24 to go. Lap 224 is the next competition caution. Robin.
Joseph Paul Tracy was just saying he loved going 3 wide, going high, but it looked like the oil dry got you.
Bad decision. That's definitely a bad decision. It seemed okay, and then I think he might be right with the oil dry. Some of those strips that they had up top, it just got loose. You know, it's hard to tell if that's what it was or not. Probably going third lane was not the right idea. You know, I was trying to just get some space with Dixon. I didn't know exactly where he was going to go. You know, I probably could have backed out of it sooner and realized it's not going to be good up there. So it's my fault. You know, I feel bad for the guys in the number 2 car. I think with everything we've been doing, Hum and Verizon on the vehicle with us, we've had fast cars. It's, you know, it's always a shame when you make a mistake for your guys. So I put that on me. You know, I'm just trying to race hard, and third lane wasn't there, so we didn't have it tonight.
We talked before the race, and you went from 17th to 2nd, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of ups and downs this race. Our car was awesome. You know, right in the beginning, you could tell it was really good, and we could get through the field quickly. And then we had some sort of miscue with the pit lane again. I don't know. We've been fighting some issues with that. Ever since the GP of Indy, we've been fighting some issues. So we've been trying to figure that out. And then we had a couple different tire deals we were working through. So it was up and down. But then once we got those items sorted out, I thought we were really good at the end.
Thanks, brother. Got it right. Kevin?
All right, thank you, Robin. The full moon is out. We're down to 11 cars and only 9 on the lead lap, but the racing has been fierce at Texas. Ready for another restart at Texas Motor Speedway. 208 complete. Now we are going to be 39 to go as Will Power leads them back into turn number 1.
Sato making a move on the outside of Dixon. Graham Rahal over the radio said his car is a rocket off the corner, accelerates like crazy. So look for him. He's now positioned himself with 30 laps to go towards the front of the field.
That third car in line we saw, the blue car, with Scott Dixon as we ride on board with Graham Rahal, who is back in 6th position. The next blue car is Takuma Sato, and up the high side, that's Max Chilton getting a position and going side by side with the Indy 500 winner.
Tony Kanaan back there running in the pack. He's now only a lap down. He was 2 laps down, so another yellow will get him back on the lead lap, and he's at a fast enough car to maybe put himself in position to win the race if he can get his lap back.
And as we saw that competition yellow, they are having cars a lap down, pit a lap later, so he would get his lap back.
And Marco is back on the lead lap with that wing change. He went down a lap, now he's back on the lead lap, so watch out for Marco as well.
There are 12 cars still in the race. Ed Carpenter came back many laps down. J.R. Hildebrand, his teammate, also is back on track, 33 laps down.
Pagano takes a look around the high side of Scott Dixon. Takuma Sato sort of settled in there to 4th, just studying everything at this point.
Our driver's going to be a little more content to stay in line until we get past this last competition caution.
You would think, but it doesn't look that way right now, Kevin.
Right now, if it ends up being a pack race like this, Townsend, you're still going to have a drag race around turns 3 and 4, and that high line is still the dirty line up there. So you've got to get it set up and have it on the bottom and make the guy go through the dirt if he's going to pull off a win.
And that oil dry that you talked about earlier, Paul, that big stripe is still there. It's clear 2nd lane high of 3 and 4, but if you're 3 lanes up like Newgarden was, there's 2 strips of that still sit there.
Sato now trying to wrangle 3rd place away from Simon Pagano. He's got a nose ahead of him now, and he's clear. Simon Pagano tucks down into 4th place.
Rahal peeking to the outside of Max Chilton. And up ahead, Sato into 3rd, and Rahal going around 2 on the outside.
Wow. That's the first time we've seen Rahal get racy all night. Oh, Chavez gets a little sideways with Kanaan.
I think those first 3 or 4 cars were just lifting and settling in to ride around. And Graham Rahal's like, man, I'll take it.
Well, he's got to get himself closer to the front. He hasn't had a sniff of it all race long. And last year, he positioned himself in the final 5 or 6 laps at the front of the field, and then he made it happen with a big move. So now he's getting close. He can feel that he's got a chance of winning.
I saw Graham Rahal just make an adjustment on the wheel to his mapping. Fuel shouldn't be an issue. Think about this for a second. All the Hondas that blew up in Indianapolis, it wouldn't surprise me if they've turned themselves down for the start of this race, but there's more in the bag for the end of the race, and they might be going for it.
We haven't seen one blow up tonight. We saw one blow up at Detroit last weekend with Hinchcliffe, so they have had their engine sorted out tonight.
Maybe just turned down a little bit, and there's always a little bit more to push the limit, so that might have been what Graham Rahal was adjusting.
Look at Sato. Sato now moving on Scott Dixon for second place.
Side by side for that position. Dixon holds on to second right now, Marty.
Kevin, these mandatory cautions might be helping Takuma Sato. He told me earlier this morning, he said, I think one deficit we have tonight is that we don't have the long run speed some of these other guys do. So pitting every 30 laps, that might play into the hand of this 26 car. He's awfully quick right now.
Excellent information, and Sato is going to try again on the high side of Scott Dixon. What kind of confidence does this 40-year-old have after winning the Indianapolis 500 and also a good run at Detroit, and now side by side for the 4th position with Rahal and Pagenaud hooked up together.
That is difficult for Simon Pagenaud, who's inside Graham Rahal, to be pinched down low when you're in dirty air. Good job from Pagenaud to hold the low line, but it's going to be tough.
All of a sudden, Graham Rahal's got some speed in his car. We saw him make an adjustment on that steering wheel, and all of a sudden, he's got some straight line speed.
Now 3 laps away from the competition caution. You're thinking the position gives me a better spot to get into the pits, trying to get out on this final stop coming up. So they're going to race until that yellow.
Look at the gap that these 5 cars have put on the rest of the field. So that really helps show what might happen on the final restart here. That gap opened up to Chavez back there in 6th, Chilton in 7th.
Remember last year's race. What might Simon Pagenaud have learned? He was a little more conservative, but still stayed up there running in that top 4 in this event.
Sato now clear of Dixon. Does Dixon have the straightaway speed to pull back up? Right now he's clear. He pushes Dixon below the white line, but he's clear, and he chops the nose off.
He wasn't very clear, Paul. I mean, Sato holding Dixon very low through turns 1 and 2.
And the Indy 500 winner is coming. Takuma Sato to the outside of Will Power, going for the lead at Texas Motor Speedway.
No attack, no chance. That's Sato's
Will
motto.
Power runs him up the track a little bit. He ran up wide to push him up the track. He's going to make him go the long way.
Keep digging.
As Dixon comes back and closes the gap on Will Power. So Dixon back to second place at the line.
And Dixon forcing his way through.
Flag.
And that's the competition caution. And Dixon was ahead for the 2nd position. Power in front. Dixon, Sato, Pagenaud, Rahal, Chavez, Chilton, Andretti, and Daly on the lead lap. Kanaan 1 lap down, should get his lap back.
And that was a power move from Scott Dixon, I think, sending the signal to Sato, hey, don't run me dirty, don't run me tight. I'm coming right back at you.
And that could be a finish right there. He was coming to the competition caution, and he closed the gap and used the draft. But that's what it's going to take when we come to the checkered here.
Certainly they are learning where they want to be placed, because there's no doubt it is going to come down to this final lap once again tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Pits are open. This is a mandatory pit stop, and a change of all 4 Firestones are coming up.
Little donut here on the shark fin for Takuma Sato, so he has rubbed with somebody. Don't know if that was Dixon earlier or maybe some other incident earlier in the race, but we probably are going to see plenty of rubbing this last restart, guys. It's going to be close.
Rubbin's racing at Texas Motor Speedway.
Let's go ahead and send it to pit road. Here they come, Jan.
And let's set the framework for what's going to happen. Scott Dixon and Will Power are pitted right next to each other. They will come to their boxes about the same time. For Scott Dixon, they're not expecting to make any changes, but this race off pit road and track position is going to be critical. So we'll call Dixon in, and we'll get it to Marty to call both to be called from the 12. Marty.
And for some of those guys, they saved a little bit more fuel. You see Will Power's team putting fuel in. They're getting about 2 seconds. All they have left on the 12th car are sticker tires. Meanwhile, Takuma Sato did not need any fuel. He will come off pit road in 3rd. They had sticker or scuff tires for Sato, and they gave him an air pressure adjustment to help him with a shorter run, Kevin.
And this time, Power beats Dixon by, it looked like, about a yard or 2. Sato out 3rd. Pagenaud. Chilton picks up a couple of spots.
Rahal looked like they might have been making a downforce change because that was an extra long pit stop. Not sure if there was an issue or if they just decided to try to trim out and find him more straightaway speed. Here's the shot from the line.
With this amount of laps, as we see Will Power comes out with a nose ahead, and Sato right there, close stops for all these guys. But I would think that if Rahal's going to have a chance of winning this race, he's going to need to trim out a little bit more, and they probably decided to go for it.
Sato was very close to beating out Dixon for 2nd, but it will be Power, Dixon, Sato, and then I think Pagenaud next.
And guys, what happened to Graham Rahal is he stalled the car, leaving the pits, and that's why he lost all those spots. So critical loss of spots there for Graham Rahal.
But he's still in this with only now 10 on the lead lap.
I'm taking a look at the right rear tire changer there for Will Power, and he's going to do a good job to try to get the air hose out of the way. That's good sportsmanship on pit lane from Team Penske. There's the right front guy trying to help out. So you remember a few years ago it got dirty there in Sonoma, but clean running on pit lane, that's good to see.
So the pit guys working together. Now the drivers are going to need to trust each other, as we've seen how they've been racing with a lot of laps remaining. Now as we are inside the final 20 by the time we go green, it's going to really ramp up in intensity. Katie?
Well, Kevin, Tony Kanaan may be the most hated man in the Verizon IndyCar Series right now. And just before he came in for the stop, he and Chip Ganassi were debating about the downforce level. Chip wanted to take it out and give it low downforce. TK wanted more downforce. As you see them adding it, Tony won that fight, Kevin.
Wow, Kanaan back on the lead lap. He's running in 10th, but we know he's got a quick car. He's been running at the front all night. How many will he get past here now that he's fighting for that lead?
Well, he's got a chance to go for it. He was 2 laps down with 50 laps to go, and with these competition yellows, we're coming to green now. And now he's back on the lead lap, but he's got to catch the pack. He's all the way at the other end of the track right now.
Inside 20 to go. We'll go green again this time with 19 left in the Rainguard Water Sealer 600 at Texas Motor Speedway. Power, Dixon, Sato, Pagenaud, and Chilton back through the gears.
Not sure if Power went early or if Dixon just got caught out, but Power had a great jump there.
Tony Kanaan was coming at the back of the pack at full speed already, so he might hang on to the draft here. He was already up to speed when those guys were going, and you see Tony Kanaan coming up on the tail of the pack there.
Momentum winding up as Scott Dixon trying to get to the front on the high side of Will Power.
I think he led that lap at the line. I think he had barely an inch on him, so Will Power holds a tight line.
I think
Dixon pushes up a little bit.
Dixon might feel like if I can get in front of Will Power, he hasn't had much experience running in dirty air. He's led so much in the second half of this race, but now everybody else is caught up. Here comes Pagenaud and Sato.
There are 70 IndyCar wins combined by those two running side by side, and now Dixon scoots in front, but Power's not going to give it up, and they're side by side in the second row too.
Remember at the start of the race, we talked about Will Power and Scott Dixon, statistically the best drivers at adapting to a new racetrack like we have here at Texas. No surprise, they're up front duking it out for the win.
Dixon leads that lap. We have 16 laps to go, so now they're 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So we got a side-by-side racing. Will Power protecting the bottom and making Scott Dixon go the long way around.
And that's Max Chilton there on the bottom side of row number 2 in the number 8 car.
This looks like a formation lap.
At 220 miles per hour.
Hey, look at Marco Andretti on the outside going 3 wide.
Oh, didn't work for Newgarden. Marco Andretti has to check up big time.
He had a huge run and he had to go for it to try it. Oh, guys getting pushed down to the apron. Marco Andretti lost a lot of speed, but he looks like he's got a racy car right now.
And that at the back of the field, that's Chavez and Graham Rahal facing each other again, but the action is tight all over the place. Here's 3 wide going into turn 1. They opt for 2 wide.
You wouldn't think 10 cars could put on a show, but they're doing it here tonight at Texas. Inside 15 to go, and still side by side up front with Scott Dixon just nosing in front. Here comes Takuma Sato again.
The guy who's coming is Tony Kanaan. He's already up to 5th or 6th place now. He was way off the tail of the pack when they went to green, and look at this. He's right in the pack now.
All of a sudden, that higher downforce call looked like a smart decision from Tony Kanaan. Look at that Firestone data, wide open, 4th gear, 5th gear. Gonna look high.
He's got to time. He's got to time it all up. He's got a little bit more downforce, these guys, and he's got to do the over/under and stay wide open.
You know, with this 2x2 racing, this reminds me a little bit of like Daytona or Talladega in the Cup car, that you have a hard time if you're faster finding a spot to go.
That's the problem for Tony. When they run side by side, there's no way to get by, even if you have a faster car. So he's got to get guys to either move up off the bottom and get a run on the bottom, or just go for it and go for the 3 wide.
They keep fanning out a bit, flirting with 3 wide, and then wisely going back to 2 wide for the corner. But I think we're going to see something go crazy here. Max Chilton drops over that big drop off to the apron in the grass, almost loses it. Nice save. Here comes Graham Rahal now. Graham Rahal up to 5th, it looks like, on the high side.
And in all of this, Connor Daly, who has been struggling for pace all weekend, running in 7th and now in 8th position as they continue to go side by side, nearing the final 10 laps as Will Power's wife, Liz, watches on. Her husband going side by side with Scott Dixon out front, and 3rd and 4th also side by side with Pagenaud and Sato.
Graham Rahal sliding way up the track. Now Dixon has a nose on Power again. I thought he might get him there, but no, Power comes fighting back.
Tony Kanaan looks to me like he's got the best car right now with that downforce change, but there's just nowhere for him to go. Oh, these two are touching wheels. Pagenaud and Sato touching wheels on the front straight.
How do you guys do this?
We don't anymore.
I'll tell you what, one guy you're not going to scare to back out is Takuma Sato. He is as fearless as they come. Simon Pagenaud trying to hold him tight. This is crazy.
Well, they're as close as they've ever run tonight. It looks like a formation lap for a sprint car race. These 2 guys are touching wheels again. Sato slides up the track and Kanaan slices down the inside.
That's the move Tony Kanaan needed to challenge for the win. Here comes Graham Rahal looking at Sato, but now I think Tony Kanaan has the space to try to fight for this thing to the end. 8 laps to go, 7 at the line.
So Kanaan's in that 2nd NTT data car. That's him on board right now, battling for 3rd position, but it's 3 wide.
3 wide now.
And he made it. Sato made it.
Sato hangs tough on the outside and shoves out Simon Pagenaud back to 5th place.
Or did he back out like he did last year and decide to live to fight to the finish?
I got a feeling the 2 best cars right now are Sato and Kanaan. They're both looking for a way around these leaders, but you're going to have to do a 3 wide like this.
No attack, no chance. Takuma Sato making it stick 2 laps in a row on the high side, up where nobody's been willing to go before, and he slots into 3rd.
Power stays out in front. That's Dixon right behind him. Sato in the 2nd blue car. Kanaan is the 3rd blue car running in 4th. Sato coming to the bottom side of Scott Dixon, and they turn. Dixon goes around. Sato goes around. Power's in front.
Well, you knew it was going to happen at some point. They were absolutely driving like maniacs.
Scott Dixon is going to be furious, as he should be.
Connor Daly also collected.
Hit you. I wonder if they'll call a red now and do a green-white checker, or they're just going to get this over with. And right now, Will Power's in front, and the guy who everybody was mad at was Tony Kanaan in 2nd. Chilton, heavy damage. If I'm him, I just keep driving around under yellow and just drag that front wing around and get to the finish line.
Keep driving it.
Yeah, Chilton is going to be able to limp around to get a 7th place finish, and let's watch again what happens.
Sato drops a wheel in the grass right here and just loses it. It bottoms, he loses the rear, catches Dixon, and they're both around, and poor Connor Daly gets wrapped up in it, and he spins trying to avoid everything.
And I thought Dixon would make it, but that's Max Chilton that augured into the side of his teammate Scott Dixon. There's Connor Daly down low. I'm not sure if Connor had any contact. Sato just didn't know where the track limit was there.
Well, the track limit's the grass.
Well, that's what I'm not sure he realized. I think he was paying such close attention to power, he just didn't have any idea where the verge was.
At this stage of the race, you're so fixated on the nose in front of you. And I mean, I've touched the grass there going through the short chute, and guys do it in cup cars, and you're just so fixated on trying to get the run done and get a run down the inside. You just mistimed that corner a little bit. As we see Kanaan, we get a great view right here. Watch the dirt kick up off of his car. And it happens that quickly.
Crash, up high, low.
What a great job from Graham Rahal to look far down the track and just nurse that thing past the chaos. Here it is from another angle.
Now, it had been discussed. I had asked the question of race stewards, what scenario might you red flag it like we've seen before, and we're past that point of no return. You needed more laps to be able to do that. So this is how this one is going to finish. Liz Power's husband, Will Power, is going to head to victory lane for the 31st time as we see those involved in this latest incident, a war of attrition. We are down to seven cars on the lead lap, plus Ed Carpenter and J.R. Hildebrand, who had been running but many, many laps down.
Good shot of the tether that IndyCar uses to keep those winglets, if there is damage, from flying up into the grandstands or anywhere else. They're going to put a fresh wing on, Paul. I'm not sure it matters to your point.
He's on the lead lap. He's the last car on the lead lap in 7th, which is still a good finish
the nose box off
overall. So,
well, they may want to make sure that there's no chance of being black flagged, not in danger of losing more positions from where they're at. So we'll see the white the next time by.
Marco's hoping for a restart here with a fresh set of Firestones. I like it. Probably some maybe a puncture on Marco's car going through the debris.
Sure. And up to 6th after running in the back for a while, then a lap down. So many different storylines of this one. Such wild racing. Who would have predicted this? None of the drivers did. But when the light goes on and the visor goes down, everything changes.
We're in no limits, Texas, Kevin. And that certainly proved true tonight. And I think this reconfigured Texas track, I didn't think we'd see as much side-by-side racing, but it was narrow side-by-side. It wasn't wide, spread out, 3-4 wide. It was 2, barely 3 wide. And I think that's what led to some of the chaos here.
Back on the main straightaway behind the pace car, we're going to see the white flag this time, so one more under caution.
How about Gavin Chavez?
Yeah.
5th place.
White flag here, pal.
Survives all the craziness, like Indianapolis. That little team just keeps improving, and the better they do, the more likely they are to run more races this season, so that's pretty cool.
That will be his best career finish. He finished 9th at Indianapolis, had one other 9th place finish, and that team is hoping, planning, I would think, with no damage. We'll see them in Pocono, and their goal is to be full-time in 2018. Harding Racing, Mike Harding, based out of Indianapolis. Larry Curry said, we had talked before we had met. I actually had done some work with him, but this all got started after the 500 last year in a suite.
I'm gonna circle another result. Connor Daly will come home 7th. Didn't wreck. If he did, got very hard on contact there, but it's a big deal for Connor to finish this race. After the big crash last year, they struggled so much. He was much racier than I think any of us would have predicted, Paul. So that's another young driver and a team that really needs a solid result, and they got it tonight.
Absolutely, and then another solid night on the oval for Will Power. This is a place where he got his first oval win. As he's coming to the checkers, his wife will be relieved. She was chewing on that plastic bottle. Another great finish for Simon Pagenaud, which is going to help him in the championship as well.
So under caution.
Will Checker, buddy. Great job today. You were the man.
The 31st win of Will Power's IndyCar career. His second at Texas Motor Speedway.
Good job in the pit. Fantastic job. Oh my God, what a race.
Tonight, it was about survival. And Will Power survived to win at Texas.
Well, when we came in here, guys, everybody's saying this was not going to be a good race. It was going to be single file. There wasn't going to be any passing. There was no second groove. We got a second groove right away, and guys started flirting with the third groove, and man, what a race.
You know, those last 10 laps, I was squirming in the seat because you just knew something was coming, and it wasn't going to be pretty. I'm glad to see everybody walk out of here okay tonight. Big credit to the Homalto safety team and to IndyCar for keeping these drivers safe. Those were some big wrecks. Big thumbs up all around. Marco Andretti to Will Power.
Just a programming note, we'll be with you for another 10 minutes or so till the top of the hour, and then you will see F1 qualifying from Canada in its entirety. As we see Scott Dixon, good to see that he's okay.
Yeah, but he's not very happy because he didn't want to talk, and that's not like him. So he probably did like his mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say it. So he went home.
Fair enough, fair enough. We ask a lot of you race car drivers. In no other sport is anyone asked to speak 30 seconds after they foul out of the game or after they're called for any kind of penalty.
I don't know what the point situation is right now, but the monitor I'm looking at is he's still first in points, Scott Dixon. So
with 13 points over Pagano, so Pagano moves up two positions, takes second in the points right now. And
pretty rare instance when you crash out of a race and you take the points lead.
And appropriate there are fireworks because there were plenty here on the track at Texas tonight. Will Power finishing up donuts, a victory lap, and he will enjoy this one. And he's going to feel better about this one. It was a half race last time at Texas. I know that Fontana win was very special to him, and he's going to enjoy this one tonight as Tony Kanaan climbs out a runner-up.
And keeps his helmet on maybe a little longer than normal after a race with all the fireworks.
I don't think he needs it, though.
But he's capable of defending himself.
And pretty happy with his guys. It'll be interesting to get his quotes from the race. A lot of guys were throwing down on him. I thought it was one of those racing deals. 3 guys trying to find the one line, so we'll see what his perspective is on it.
And there's more damage collection. Those guys have been busy tonight, Kevin. Collecting all kinds of crash cars. Katie?
Well, Tony Kanaan and Chip Ganassi are debriefing here a little bit. Chip just told TK, hey, you're my man. But Tony, I'm just going to get straight to the point. What happened from your point of view? We're going to show you a replay of the crash.
I think I definitely move a little bit to the right. There's a little bump there, and I was trying to avoid, and
This is the incident with Rossi first.
Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm getting blamed about everything, so that's 3 wide right there, so.
Now the big one.
Yeah. I think I have to apologize to Vinci and move up a little bit for sure, and I hate to do that. I mean, definitely it was not on purpose, yeah. And we got tangled, so it's a shame. I mean, obviously, that's not the way I drive. I don't like to crash people. We got a penalty. We got a penalty, we paid the penalty, and we raced back, so it is what it is.
And even a second with that penalty. Kevin?
Second last year at Road America as well. He was trying for his first win since Fontana, the season finale back in 2014. Great result for Kanaan, but a lot of storylines. Let's go down to Robin.
All right, Takuma, hell of a run tonight. We were just talking about it. It's too bad that wasn't all concrete, but the grass got you.
Yeah, it was just an unfortunate situation that I had nowhere to go. I had a car in front, I had a car on the right side, and all I could go is just straight cut to the grass, and where it's bottomed out and the car hooked up, and there's nothing I could do for that.
Looked like you're having fun before that.
It was a little bit crazy, but it was a fun. It was a great show on the night, and really, really unfortunate that we couldn't finish the race.
Well, get some sleep. He's flying to Japan, Marty, to celebrate the Indy 500.
Will Power has made it to Texas's victory lane for the second time. He asked permission to do burnouts. They said, well, take it easy on the engine. Don't go too hard on the engine. Don't hit that hard rev limiter and you'll be okay. And he certainly enjoyed those and said, that's the only time I enjoy burning rubber on an oval. Will Power, dominant tonight, led 180 of 248 laps and makes it to victory lane here in Texas. We talked about how it's a hometown win for his wife Liz, and we saw how nervous she was and how relieved she was when they said it would end under caution. It's been a very up and down season for Will Power, trying to get unbuckled from all the stuff inside the race car. And he's going to enjoy this moment, no doubt about it. Will, or your winner here at Texas. About as much motion as you'll see from Will Power. You said what a night, very accurate assessment, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense was that racing at the end, Will?
It was very intense. I could see Dixon was able to pass me at the start-finish line, so I was starting to think about what I was going to do there for the end. But phenomenal job by the guys in the pits. I'm so stoked, so happy for Verizon. Shows how good that Chevy engine is, man. It was super fast tonight. I'm so stoked to win in my second home, where my wife is from, Texas. All the family is here. Just feels awesome.
Is that the significance winning for Liz and her family? You guys had a family reunion on Thursday.
We were just talking about it, and her cousin said, man, you haven't won for me here yet. And like, he's come year after year, and I really didn't think that it would be this weekend, but oh man, you don't understand how good that feels.
It's been such an up and down year for you guys. Now with this win, you're only 40 points out of the championship lead. Can you believe that, considering how the year started?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just, I'm so stoked for the win. I don't really care about the rest, you know. I just wanted to win here in Texas, and I did it.
Road America's next, so that's a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah, man, we're coming. We're coming.
And there's wife Liz for a big hug. She's hobbling in on her crutches. A great win for this family. As we said, her family from Plano, Texas. They had a family reunion with about 50 people on Thursday. Big win for Will Power and the family.
And up to 5th in the championship, +3, and I know how much he enjoys winning on ovals. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Honda, an official vehicle of the Verizon IndyCar Series, and by Pengrade Motor Oil. Make the grade. Stay with us. More to come from Texas Motor Speedway.
Back at Texas Motor Speedway, where the celebration continues for Will Power, winning here at Texas. And of course, it was a hard-fought battle against teammates. One of those was Simon Pagenaud, who gets his highest career finish here at Texas. All night, you were shadowing Will, and that was kind of the plan. You were holding back, but then it got crazy at the end, 3 wide. How'd you deal with that situation?
Yeah, well, it was very much pack racing, so you know we were trying with Will to get away from the pack, which we did for quite a while. It was a way also to save some fuel and stay behind him, but I was trying to protect him so we could just go as fast as we could, and worked out really well. And at the end there, I was hoping we were gonna go a little longer because I had a really good car. It was a lot of fun. It got a little crazy at the end. I tell you, I mean, it's just incredible how close we can race against each other. So good fun, good night, awesome work with Will. You know, that's Team Penske. We work all together. You guys don't believe us, but we do, and we showed it tonight.
Thankfully, it was a safe night. He's now 2nd in the points. Kevin?
3rd place finish for Simon Pagenaud moves him up. And speaking of the points, this is how it stacks up right now as we move past the midpoint of the season and the rest of the championship right here on NBCSN. Scott Dixon, Simon Pagenaud, Sato stays in 3rd, doesn't lose too much ground. Helped out Elio Castroneves with all the attrition with the other championship leaders, but he loses a couple of spots.
I'll tell you what, guys, I'm happy to see all these drivers walk out of here in one piece. That was a crazy night of racing. I feel for Scott Dixon. I thought he had something there for Will Power in the end. Paul, what are your final thoughts?
Wild, crazy nights in hot Texas under a full moon. Excitement all the way from the green flag to the finish.
It was a fun night. PT, thank you. Townsend, great luck at Le Mans in your Ferrari and the rest of the IndyCar drivers that are headed there as well tomorrow. Coming up next, Formula One qualifying from Montreal. Join us Sunday, June 25th at 12:30 Eastern as the Verizon IndyCar Series continues on NBCSN. The Kohler Grand Prix from Road America. For more information on the Verizon IndyCar Series, log on to NBCSports.com. For Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, Marty Snyder, Jan Beekes, Katie Hargett, and Robin Miller, I'm Kevin Lee. Congratulations to Will Power.
Woo!